Good morning, everyone. Welcome back this morning to another coffee spot. We've been enjoying these all week, hearing from a number of different people. Today we have Faye talking to us about travel insurance, and representative is AJ Steele. So they are making an effort to think about travel insurance differently. AJ is going to lead us through all the ins and outs of the products that they offer, and also we'll have plenty of time for questions. So please feel free to put your questions in the comments on YouTube in the live stream, and I will be passing those on to AJ. And also, I just wanted to mention we have one more coffee spot this week, which is tomorrow. It'll be with Uniglobe. So we'll make sure and put in the comments where you can register for that one as well. So anyway, thanks for being here. And without further ado, I'll pass it to AJ.
Thank you so much, Abby. Wanted to just thank you and everybody for being here. Love Host Agency Review. Love everybody. It's been a great network to be a part of.
I will be passing those on to AJ. And also,
one of the things I do want to just say, Abby, you nailed it with Faye. You said, challenging to think differently. It is something that, I'm going to date myself here really quick. We'll get going. But 1984, Apple did that very famous Super Bowl ad about, with everybody, and the lady comes through and throws a sledgehammer, and they just talked about Apple's going to launch the Macintosh. And it's kind of challenged the status quo of think different was their campaign. It wasn't we're better. It wasn't this is why. It was think different. So that's really the same vein as really what we're doing at Faye, is just saying, hey, listen, let's take what we know and what we have going on and is a status quo, and let's just kind of put it aside and let's think different just for a second and talk about Faye. So diving into it, really meet Faye. Our premise is if travel insurance didn't just wait for things to go wrong, but if we help them go right instead. Looking at the general fundamentals of how travel insurance is viewed, we're not just a reimbursement service. We're not just going to be sitting there and say, oh, well, you had X, Y, or Z happen, so we owe you this much money. It's more than the money. When people are on trip, their focus shouldn't be on a sliding scale of how much money they'll get reimbursed. It should be, that's a hard-earned trip. They've been planning it with their advisors, their agents, their friends, their family. The focus is enjoying and making the most of their hard-earned time off and their hard-earned money that they spent. So we want to make sure that we're doing that too. We're aligning with them, making sure that it's not just a reimbursement service. It's a must-have. It is a companion. It's something that's there to help people. So how we're doing that? This is Faye. Meet Faye, what we are doing, and we'll go into the specifics of the policy and the details and hows and whats and whys. But we can have the best benefits in the world. We can have the greatest people on support, and we can have everything at the highest of highs. But if the traveler themselves, if they're not able to access, if they're not able to actually partake and benefit from the benefits of their policy, why are we doing this? So we have an app that comes along with every single policy. It's a free app. It comes on, they just download the app, and then they use their email that they used in the quoting process or that the advisor used and upload. We can track and monitor their flights. So no more do they have to tell us, hey, my flight was canceled. Hey, well, my flight was delayed. In fact, we would be telling them, hey, your flight's delayed. It's going to actually change concourses. Here's $200 instantly. Here's $200. Go grab a bite to eat. Do you want us to look at some alternate flights in case you might miss your connection? We are able to do that through our app. You can see here on the left side, we're able to monitor, track, and report and push notifications to the traveler. You see on the far right side, we have a Faye wallet. This is a digital credit card that's built into the app. We're not asking for any private information from the traveler. We're not looking to do anything. It's a way for us to deliver funds real time, instant claim payout while the traveler is on trip before they experience the pain, right? They don't have to literally experience the pain. They don't have to bear the financial burden. We're able to make them whole before they even have the loss. They can either spend it directly from their phone using tap to pay, or they can hit this redeem button up here and they can send it to their bank account. Up to them, but they don't need to tell us. We're going to make them whole first. You also see a variety of other things that we can do. We can also give them their coverages, show them coverages. They can provide proof of coverage sometimes for these trips. They can see all the other people on the policies. Also must have information like weather, electricity, power requirements, adapters, converters, currencies, important events. And even recently, we've actually done more expansion and we've actually added on Spotify playlists. So recommended playlists for destination, for your trip, for all these things. If you're traveling to Jamaica in January from Michigan, we're going to make sure help get you in that mood. You want to get out of the snow. You want to get out of the cold. You're going to Jamaica. Let's get you in that right vacation mindset, right? All this is delivered in that app. You have 24/7, 365. At the bottom here, there's examples where it says get help. This is our chat feature. That's 24/7, 365 access to our customer experience team. This is the team that is there. There's no such things as nights or weekends. They're there all the time, and we're there to help. Whether that's, hey, I think my husband drank too much, or I think my wife doesn't feel well. If your headache lasts too long, if you're sick, if you think you might be getting sick, chat with us. Let's make sure that we're being proactive on this and we're making sure we can get you the help you need to where it's not, you don't have to grin and bear it. It's your vacation. You should be focused on enjoying your vacation. So with that Person First Travel, we are that connected concierge. Again, 24/7. We're able to actually process and do claims through the app real time. Hey, if my luggage didn't make it in time, I got to the airport, I sat at the carousel, my luggage didn't make it, go over to the counter, you fill out the report, snap a picture of it, and then chat with us. Send it into us. You'll instantly get money, funds directly on your Faye wallet. No receipts needed. You can choose to use that. You can stop at a bar on your way to the hotel. You can spend it all there. You can go buy little tchotchke items at the hotel gift shop. I don't care. It's up to you. We're making you whole. Then we're also going to find your bag and make sure it gets to you. If in the case of people having medical instances or thinking they might be sick and just trying to work through it, our notion is, hey, call us early, call us often. Let us know. If there's any sort of things that are upset, let us know. We'll get a telemedicine appointment for you. We'll get a doctor sent to your room or your cabin. We'll send a car to also come through and take you to a clinic. We'll do a guarantee of pay for the hospital or everything like that, making sure that you can get taken care of, okay? So that's all can happen real time instantly when they're with us. The other thing that we're going to do is send those security alerts. You know, I know every single person, every single advisor and agent, everybody's been on the phone or had that client that, well, what if this happens? What if I'm in Iceland and the volcano goes? What if I'm here and there's a tsunami? What if I'm here and there's an earthquake? Listen, you're going to go and you can focus on having a good time because we're going to have your back. We're going to tell you, hey, listen, you're in the area. We had this happen. We're going to push that notification out to them. We're going to also let the advisor know that this is what's going on. There's a security alert. This is happening. Hey, expect it to be rainy the next couple of days. Did you pack an umbrella? Would you like us to show you where there's stores that would have an umbrella nearby? Things like that we're able to do to where they can maximize their actual experience. So the way we look at things, getting into the policy, and right here, we split up into three simple things: your health, your trip, and your stuff. It's not separate. We're a comprehensive policy. You see here on the right-hand side of the screen, that's actually a snippet from our advisor portal. So that's actually the offer screen from how, when you get to a quote, when you see Faye and you actually can interact with it, you can see what's covered. You can also look at optional add-ons and you can look at all of that. But let's dive into the policy a little bit here for your health, your trip, and your stuff. When I'm looking at your health, your trip, your stuff, I'm going to talk about your trip first. This is pretty standard, what you're used to seeing from a travel insurance carrier. Your trip at 100%. Trip interruptions at 150%. Now, I asked Abby if I can unmute people and let people interact, and I'm going to say it, Abby, because it's live and you can't stop me. I wanted to ask here, one of the big things I like to ask is, I like to challenge people and say, can somebody tell me the difference between trip cancellation and trip interruption? And generally then I pick on somebody, somebody that I can see on my screen here, or somebody that I know. And a lot of times they go through the examples, and I like to say, I'm going to make it so even I can understand it. And it's timing. Trip interruption is cancellation after you've left on your trip. So the difference between trip cancellation and trip interruption is timing. That's really as simple as that. So trip interruption, if you're already on your trip and you got to cancel your trip, that last minute accommodations and the last minute airfare home generally costs more. And that's why you see that going up to 150%. Do please notice a single supplement is automatically included in our policy. No optional add-on. It is just automatically included. The thing that I want to do also point out is the trip delay benefit. Trip delay, this is one of the most frequently used benefits and frequently exhausted benefits in a travel insurance policy. So we made sure that we put $4,500 in it. Now, not only did we do that, but then you see trip inconvenience, misconnection as well that are included in the policy to help even prop up more. So what we're doing with our policy is we're actually creating separate little pockets that we can draw from given an instance. Oh, this is, we can help make sure you're taken care of. And again, their focus is going through and making sure they're continuing and making sure they're having a good time on their trip. Your health, first and foremost, it's coming back. Let's just address the elephant in the room. COVID-19 is covered, just like any other sickness or illness. So not only is it a covered reason for cancellation, but you're covered if you have something come up, arise while you're on vacation, while you're on trip. If anybody wants to reach out to me direct, I can give you the real world example of when my wife tested positive for COVID last year in India, in Chennai, India. Very, very happy that she had Faye. She was freaking out. I was too, actually, to be honest with you, but going through knowing that, hey, my loved one was literally halfway around the world, and she was taken care of, and she was really, she was very, very impressed, which she's a hard person to impress, but very, very impressed with our ability to not just be proactive and not just treat her, but reach out and be kind of proactive and saying, hey, you're probably going to need this, and have that eye on that next step, and being there for her every step of the way, including getting home. Our emergency accident, sickness, and medical expense is $250,000. This is first payer primary. This is on all trips international. This is going to be first payer primary. And when I say that, I mean no copays, no deductibles. They should not spend a penny of their money. I said it early on. If they're sick, if they think they might be sick, contact us early, often. Let us know. The best thing I've done with some of our most frequent clients is I've told them, hey, I don't want you to think of us as a travel insurance or insurance that you buy and say, oh, I hope I never need to talk to you again. Nope, I want to hear from you. I've actually told people, hey, listen, when your clients get there, have them download the app, have them chat with my CX team, have them say, hey, Faye, what's a random fact of the day? And they'll get a response back. Or send us that selfie from the airplane. Hey, we're ready to go. Looking forward to it, Faye. Ask for, and guys, I'm curvy and I've embraced that. I use Faye. Honestly, I ask for a lot of off-the-wall things. Best desserts. Where can I get a cookie in this district? Where's the best gelato? I always ask for things like that. Because you know what? If I'm on vacation, I'm going to ask those questions, and I've got some of the best dessert suggestions and recommendations from the people at Faye, from just blindly following. Hey, I'm right here. Okay. Hey, head over here. Here's some options. I would recommend this one. So it's something that I always recommend people reaching out to. We're going to have that. We're going to cover it. And again, first payer primary, no copays, no deductibles. We do have a pre-existing medical conditions waiver. If a policy is purchased within those first 14 days of that initial trip deposit, we're able to just have a pre-ex waiver. We don't, no look back, eliminate that look back period, make sure they're covered. You can do this by a variety of ways, and we can talk about it. But one of the easiest things to do is contact us early and often, but also, hey, let's look at the idea of offering travel insurance early and often. Travel insurance is never going to be cheaper than insuring the deposit. If my deposit's $1,000, that's a really inexpensive travel insurance policy. Then as they add on to that vacation, as long as they don't have cancel for any reason, so they add on to that vacation, they can increase that policy and make those payments if they choose to. They don't have to, but they can choose to. So always very easy. And then emergency medical evacuation expense. We have $500,000 here. And this is, again, per person, making sure that we're able to take care of them. Important note with emergency evacuation expense. This isn't just, the helicopter coming off of Everest or Kilimanjaro. This isn't the nitty gritty, Arnold Schwarzenegger, get to the chopper. This is everything from ambulance to also your accommodations if something happened and now you have accommodations and you need to go from economy or business class to now first class because you need to be able to lay flat or you need to be able to have more space because of something that happened, an accident or whatever, or maybe the nurse needs to travel with you now, or you need to have oxygen, anything like that. This helps take care of that. So keep in mind, this is more than just that very bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression or a helicopter or an evacuation jet. I see you, Abby. It's fine. It's okay. I'm used to it. But this is a lot more than that. Okay. Now your stuff. This is where everything gets fun. We're talking about those bags that are overpacked and overstuffed, and you need them the minute you land because you flew from Michigan to Jamaica in January, so you got on the plane at negative single digits, and you're getting off in very warm, balmy weather, right? You want your bag. So first and foremost, let's talk about if your bag gets lost or stolen. Lost, stolen, destroyed, baggage. It's going to be $2,000 worth of coverage there for that in the contents. Now, the other thing we do have with the baggage coverage, we have an additional $2,000 for professional equipment. Yes, golf clubs, things like that, but also professional items like phones, laptops, tablets. It's 2024. Is anybody traveling without one or all of those? A phone, a cell phone, laptop, or tablet. So being able to do that and have that in our coverage where we're pointing it out to include it in coverage as opposed to pointing it out to exclude it from coverage. We want to be there for today's traveler, today's needs, and be there and be friendly, not just for the advisor to offer onboard and have their person covered and know that they're at ease because they have them covered, but also for the traveler to know, hey, I'm here. Lost passport or credit cards. This is a $50 reimbursement. Now, also, I want to point out, if I lose my passport and my wallet in Italy, I don't care about $50. $50 is the least of my worries. My worries is my passport, my credit cards are gone. How am I going to pay for things? How am I going to get home? So Faye is going to not just do that money, that $50. We're going to help get you those appointments. We're going to help get those documents to you and make sure that first and foremost, you can continue about your vacation. You can enjoy yourself knowing you've got peace of mind. We're going to help make sure everything's secure and get you the information you need, not just to enjoy, but also to go home. Okay. And then baggage delay. This is probably one of my favorite ones to talk about because I've experienced this. I've had friends, family, loved ones, and some travel advisors that we work with experience this as well, to where after a very long day of travel, the bag doesn't show up on the carousel. That is a very, very long and lonely walk to that baggage counter. It's a sinking feeling, and I work for a travel insurance company, guys. It's terrible. The unknown, the uncertainty. You're walking up and you're just tired. You want your stuff, right? You get up there and you fill out the incident report. You get that filled out. With Faye, you don't need to worry about hoping and praying and crossing every single finger, leg, arm, whatever you have, crossing them and saying, I hope I get reimbursed from this. No, just chat with us. Send us a picture of that report showing that your bag didn't make it. Also, it really helps if you send a picture of your claim check, so that way we can go work with the airline to find your bag and say, where is this thing? Then we can say, all right, first we'll do a deposit of $300 directly onto your Faye wallet. You don't need to tell us what you use that for. You have the money, go. But then Faye is going to reach out to you again on that chat, and they're going to say, hey, would you mind sharing what hotel you're staying at? Because we see that your bag is in Frankfurt. It's scheduled to arrive, tomorrow morning. I don't want you to have to make another trip back to the airport. How about we help coordinate getting it to you? And an example that I love the most, I actually traveled, and I was traveling to one of our offices, one of our Faye offices. And I was at a hotel, and they said, hey, the driver's on his way. And I said, actually, I'm at the office that's about 2 miles closer to the airport. Could you mind rerouting them? So I literally had a courier bring me my bag, my delayed bag. After I got my payout on my app, I literally had a courier bring my bag covered by Faye to the Faye office. It was something that, he didn't realize the matrix in which he was walking into, but me and a couple other guys in the Faye office, we thought it was hilarious. It was great, but it was really a demonstration of it's not about the money. It's about how you make that traveler feel. I felt confident from that point on that, listen, I'm going to check a bag with confidence. It's not confidence in the airline that they're going to get it there. It's confidence that I'm not going to miss a beat when I hit the ground because I have Faye. All right. So that's the policy. It's a comprehensive policy. So cancellation with post-departure benefits. But what's a good ice cream sundae without any toppings, right? So let's talk about add-ons. Yes, I did just equate travel insurance to ice cream sundaes. So we got to keep up. We do have where available. So in states where it's available, we do have the ability to add cancel for any reason. There's 2 caveats to cancel for any reason. This is that they must insure the full trip cost, and it must be done within 14 days of that deposit. Okay. These are all questions that are asked during that process. And if they want to upgrade, then we ask for deposit date. We do have rental car reimbursement for that accidental damage and theft of that rental vehicle. We have adventure and extreme sports protection. So this is always a big one, always a big question for people kind of getting out of their comfort zone, because we've been penned up as Americans. We've been penned up and been told we have to stay home. So now you have a lot of people getting out there and trying things and getting out of their comfort zones. Let's make sure we have them covered. We have that we're able to basically say, listen, you're always covered. We do have very popular vacation rental damage protection. So this is something you can buy with us for those VRBOs, for the Airbnbs, to make sure that you have an advocate on your side, and it's not the product that's offered through the rental agreement that you don't have an advocate. You can be paying they can make a claim on the policy and you don't know. With us, you've got an advocate. We're going to fight, and we're going to make sure that we are there for you. And then finally, we do have a pet care one, the pet care add-on. So this pet care bundle, I want to highlight a little bit, because I want to talk about, everybody thinks about pet care bundles for if you're boarding your pet or if your pet's not going on the trip with you. Yes, it's great. It's great if I'm delayed and we've got $250 there for if I'm delayed coming back home and my dog needs to stay an extra night at the kennel. That's great. It's great if I'm gone and my dog stress chews the side of the kennel wall at the boarding facility and gets sick and they need to give him some medicine or whatever. It's great. We've got benefit for that. But let's talk about a real world example of how it works when the dog is traveling, right? So the humans have $250,000 of medical coverage. Why don't we give the furry friends $2,500, right? Because just like humans, we don't get sick during the weekday when we work. We get sick at night when we're on vacation. So dogs are going to be similar. They're going to follow along with their best friends. They're going to get sick on vacation when you're in a strange place and you're at a hotel. So this is Coco. Coco's a German Shepherd. Coco's owner, Lauren, travels with Coco all the time. And Coco is a well-traveled dog. They were going to Germany, and they went to Germany. Upon landing and being reunited with Coco at the airport, Lauren noticed that Coco's eyes really looked bad. I mean, really looked bad, gunk, and they just looked nasty. She chatted with Faye. Faye said, all right, here we go. There's a couple places where you're staying. Okay, this is close to where you're staying. Made the appointment, got the vet up to speed on things, sent the vet some pictures that Lauren had provided. So Lauren walks in with Coco. In 30 minutes, Lauren was walking out with some drops and I forget what else, maybe some medication. But Lauren got the money she paid and she took a picture of the receipt. Before she left the veterinary office, she had that money reimbursed onto her on her Faye wallet. She didn't have to mail it in. She didn't have to fill out a claims form. She literally took a picture of the receipt, sent it in. We already knew what was happening, so we got her money, right? So her and Coco, they were good until a couple days later when Coco was not acting right. She went back and chatted with us again. We set up another visit with that same vet and again went through their infection was just kind of nasty and was going, got other places, but got her a different med and got her well on the mend, and I think got her an IV. But again, same thing happened. Lauren walks in, Lauren pays in confidence, knowing that she's going to get this. She snaps a picture, and again, she has notification of the funds on her wallet before she leaves. Now, this is actually a picture of Coco. And yes, because we love dogs, we did actually send Coco and Lauren a bandana for Coco. We love to hear things like that. So yes, there is lots of love for Coco. We want to give an example. We always talk about the humans. We always talk about, the cancellation or the big things. But let's talk about the dogs. Let's talk about the things that you guys are going to get pressed on. Let's talk about those niche things. And working with Faye. Let's talk about that because it's something we want to do. So we do make it easy to provide some of the best coverage in the industry. We look at multiple ways to offer Faye and sell Faye through not only our advisor portal, but then also through custom links, landing pages, and with networking, with integrating API. Absolutely something that we do every day with everybody from the independent contractor to the host agency, consortiums. We integrate and we're able to be custom for them. The commission and profit sharing, again, we're going to be tailor fit for whatever you want to do. So if you're the independent contractor, call us. You're the host network, call us. You're a consortium, call us. We want to work with everybody. We want to work with the people that value the experience, that value their clients, that are going that extra mile, that are looking to say, what's next? How can we take this and take it further? We're also going to help provide marketing and support. So not just individuals, not just trainings, not just webinars, but office hours, detailed things. Hey, you got a group presentation? Would you like me to join? Hey, you've got a high net worth client, net worth client that you've got that's got some questions and they want that little white glove service. Absolutely. We'll jump on the phone with them. We'll be on with you. Hey, picture us. This is a partnership. You're not working for us. You owe us nothing. This isn't a vendor relationship. This is a partnership. You should walk away from any partnership, whether you sell one policy, no policies, or 1,000 policies, saying, I am in a better place now because of my partnership with Faye. We do also support custom real-time reporting, just on custom reports on how you want them, what you want to see, when you want to see them. And then obviously the support with virtual and in-person meetings. If it's a network and you're spread out all over the US, great, we'll help coordinate that. We'll arrange for different lunch and learns. We'll arrange for happy hours. We'll do cocktail things. We'll make sure that your network is treated like they deserve to be treated. We'll make sure that people feel comfortable with Faye, right? And then also we give you the direct access to the decision makers. So we want you to know that if there's something here, you have a person. So knowing that you're trusting us with your clients, let's make sure that we're trusting you with the ability for when you need it. You've got the bat phone, you've got that, that red phone that you can pick up. You can contact, whether it's AJ, whether it's our head of claims, whether it's, our CEO sometimes even. We'll say, listen, I need to talk to somebody. You have access to the people that we're going to make sure we're doing what we need to do to treat your clients the right way, right? Our first thing is always saying, what can I do? How can we get better? Because if we're not getting better, we're just falling into status quo. And we don't want to do that. We want to continue to push and make things better. Real quick, I'm going to jump into some questions here, but this is me and my contact information right here. But one of the things we always talk about is, not just wait for things to go wrong, but help them go right. Making trips and putting itineraries together. Nobody books a vacation with an advisor with the intent to cancel. Nobody does. Nobody sits in front of their advisor or calls their advisor and spends a half hour talking about Bora Bora, the hotels at Bora Bora, because they're like, I'm going to show them, I'm going to cancel this. No, nobody does that. We all want the beach. We all want to relax. We all want to put ourselves, if not mentally, physically, into a relaxing situation. We work hard because we want to reward ourselves. And let's help make that be something to remember for the right reasons. Let's help make it be, instead of what are they going to talk about when they come home? Are they going to talk about the amazing things that you did for them, the amazing accommodations, the exclusive access that you got them, and the experience that you provided them? Or let's make sure that it's not my bag was delayed. Let's make sure that was a blip in the, a small little blip in the radar, and that's mentioned as a positive. But my advisor took care of me, got me this crazy awesome insurance, and they paid me before I even left. It was great. So now I'm going to dive into some questions I'm going to go through. Thank you again, Abby, for feeding these over to me. You're the best Vanna White since Vanna White. La
la la la la la la la. Yes.
Okay, I'm coming up here. So I'm scrolling up here.
Would you like me to read them to you, AJ? So it's a little bit more interactive. I'm happy to do so.
Absolutely. You can start. Yeah.
Okay, great. So Cindy's wondering, will Faye also notify the travel advisor if there are any issues at the exact same time? I think she's wondering about the timing of that.
Yes, the advisor can be as involved or as uninvolved as they want to be. They can get the push notifications that, hey, this was happening. They can get a summary of claims notifications. It's all really up to them. I call it the 3 a.m. phone call. Do they want the 3 a.m. phone call, or do they want us to do it and then just them have email in their inbox saying, hey, your client had this happen. This is the service we provided. Just keeping you in the loop, so that way they know.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So it's pretty. It's something that they can individualize. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's integrated, and then also in their portal, they'll be able to see, claims and people that are in trip. They can see not just their sold and unsold policies, but they'll see in trip, and they'll see, oh, there's a claim, and what kind of claim it is. So that way, if there is support needed from them, we can get that and make it truly, truly seamless.
Excellent. So someone from Tapestry Travel is wondering, who is the financial institution that's behind Faye?
All right. So the financial institution. So a couple things here. There's the underwriting. Our underwriting is done by Crum US Fire. So our policy is underwritten by Crum US Fire. It's an A-rated carrier. They're well known in the industry. Obviously, travel insurance is highly regulated, and Crum is a great partner of ours. Now, the other thing I do want to talk about is then the financial backing. So that's for the policies. So obviously, we have to have the reserves in place for losses in every policy that we have. And we've got that partnership and that relationship with Crum. We are a full stack TPA and MGA, meaning we've got access to the bank account, but we do the claims. We're doing the policy administration, and we actually then write the software. So we are full stack on our own. We're just outsourcing just that underwriting bit. And yes, they're going to make a little bit on it. And with that fact, the financial for the operations of the business, we're actually backed by some of the largest financial backers in the world. We actually just completed another Series A, and some former travel insurance executives, along with like Munich Re, one of the largest reinsurance companies in the world,
Wow.
looked at Faye and said, "We really love what you're doing here," and gave us an additional $10 million in capital to continue to develop. Remember, how can we get better? Now we've got the funds to get better, to make sure we're continuing to push and continuing to deliver. That's a great question. Tapestry Travel.
Yeah. I think that Marilyn has been really active in the chat and been answering a lot of great questions, because she's very into the product already, which is wonderful. But someone did answer whether there are annual plans offered. She mentioned that there are 180 days. Can you speak to that directly?
Yes. So those of you that have worked with me in the past or know me will know that the annual policy part, I'm not a big fan of annual policies from a regulatory perspective, but then also from a practical application perspective. If we want a whoopee to hold and print out and hold and take and tuck into our carry-on to make us feel protected, by all means, an annual plan is good for you. But if you want to keep warm and you want something to actually protect you, the annual plan's not going to really be of the benefit levels, both coverage or first payer, or actually able to cover you, being that they're missing a lot of perils and they're missing a lot of benefit lines. So instead of doing an annual plan, we always say we are per trip. So no, we don't do an annual plan, because we feel that service, that product is not something that we would like to stand behind. It's not something that experience wouldn't mirror what we shoot for. So we're not going to put a product out there that doesn't properly represent our brand and our mission and our values, and an annual plan isn't one. If you are traveling, you're a travel advisor and you're traveling and you have a low trip cost or no trip cost, remember, you can insure as much or as little as you want. So you can go in and look at a plan and take the trip cost down to the minimum trip cost. You still have full post-departure coverage. You're just whittling away your trip cancellation and trip interruption. The other thing, all of our plans automatically do. So the day of departure and the 2 days before departure, we automatically take out trip cancellation. So Abby, if I offer you're going to Jamaica.
Oh yeah, sign me up. Oh,
right. You're going next year. You got to suffer this year. You got to go through the hardships to appreciate the mountaintop. Okay. So I need you to bear through this year. Next year, you're going to be in Jamaica. Okay. You buy a policy or you don't buy a policy. And I'm going. That's the most common thing. I don't need insurance. There's no way I'm not going. Well, now you're getting closer and closer. And now it's the day before and you're saying, gosh, what happens if I get sick on my trip, just like my friends got sick? So now you go pull up that quote. That quote will automatically keep alive, and it will show you that it's peeled away trip cancellation, and now it's just a post-departure policy. And the pricing will reflect that as well. So something really cool that's just automatically done in our system. Okay, I think Abby might be frozen. But I'm going to go. Elizabeth has a question here on a new advisor that just booked 3 people on a cruise. They're currently deciding whether to go on the cruise with their cruise insurance or any other. You need to know with Faye versus cruise. Elizabeth, always just reach out. Let's quote Faye, because the big thing with us is we can insure all those components, not just what's booked through the cruise line. We're going to be more comprehensive. We're going to be first payer, and we're going to actually pay out cash. These are just kind of some of the things quick off the top. So what's valued in this situation? Do they want cash? Are they okay with vouchers? What's their experience like? And I'm going to say something that I don't think you're going to hear a lot of company reps say from travel insurance is quote us. Because if you quote us and then you present us with the cruise line insurance, you're empowering that client. You're showing value to that client as their advisor, that you're bringing that to the table for them to make that decision, right? They're not being spoon-fed something. They're given the options, they're given the choice, and it's ultimately up to them. So if you quote Faye and our Faye policy helps you sell a cruise line insurance policy, great. You're better off for having seen Faye. You're able to get people insured and go on a vacation. That's the goal, right? Let's do whatever we can with that. Are you back with us, Abby?
I'm back. Sorry, I left for Jamaica briefly.
You just had too much fun. It's okay. It's okay to say the bandwidth just can't handle the fun coming from this.
Yeah, it's true. That's been true a number of times this week, actually. Let's see here. Where are we at in the questions, AJ?
Everybody, I'm on how long has Faye been in business? I'm scrolling.
Oh, nice.
Actually, Faye, lucky and unlucky enough, we started in pandemic. We started saying, let's build this, let's build it right, let's build it for the travelers. We started that in 2020. We actually started, we got everything in place and we're fully live in all 50 states as of early 2022. And we've been just kind of folding over exponentially ever since.
Awesome. There were a few questions about whether there are annual policies for travel agents in particular. I think you sort of answered that question. It doesn't really hinge on the...
Yeah. We don't have annual policies at all. If you're a travel advisor, I talked about the little, I would call it trick or life hack of, hey, lowering that down, lowering your trip cost down, and still having the benefits. Yeah.
Good. There are some pet lovers out there, so they were wondering, is there a deduction from the first vet visit, or is it another full $2,500? So just kind of the nitty-gritty details of that pet policy.
Yeah, you guys are talking about Coco. No, that $500 got depleted after that first visit, and then that second visit. I mean, there's plenty left in there. I mean, the idea is, no, we're not gonna, Steph, sorry, you can't just take a trip from Minneapolis down to Dubuque, Iowa, when your dogs are due for their annual vaccines and be like, oh, hey, it's not the intended purpose, right?
Not how it works. Not the point. Yeah.
Just like with humans, it's for conditions or things that manifest while on trip. Okay.
Good.
Those types of things, it's $2,500, and it was more than sufficient for Coco's multiple issues on her trip to Germany.
Thankfully, it's not every dog that gets to go to Germany. That's amazing.
Well, I joked that I think I maybe even put it in there. Like, is this on purpose? Was she taking her German Shepherd to Germany? Like was that ironic, or is that just luck that then this happened? So biz development. Like, look at this.
Oh man. AJ, you totally have my number. I just had to pop and say it. You're like I don't even know. I don't know how you're doing this. You're like ice cream, cookies, dogs, taking them. Well, although I can't get my dogs to go to the vet, so you wouldn't ever need to worry about me using that. As
I said that, I felt the policy unselling itself for your next trip. I know that. I know. But I would rather do that than deny your claim because you're over here trying to take advantage of my plan, Steph. It's okay.
You know me, always working the system.
Working the angles,
Yep. Yeah. Do we have a little bit more time for questions? I think maybe a minute or two. There's a few more rolling in. Is the cost of the plan based on the age of the traveler or the total cost of the trip? How do you determine that?
Yeah, it's dynamic pricing. So it is the two primary components that go into pricing is going to be age and trip cost. So obviously our exposure being the trip cost and the probability of loss feeding by the age of the traveler. The other big component that feeds into it, if I was going to go expand and go to the third component, it's going to be the destination. So international versus domestic. And then like every good travel insurance company, we are licensed and admitted, and we are filed in every single state. So each of those states might have something to say. So like a California resident might pay a couple dollars less than a North Dakota resident, for example. It's all based on the filed and admitted rates by those states.
Got it. Okay. What about group or family policies? Do you have ways of grouping people in those ways, or?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple different things that we do with those groups. But first off, if it's a true group, there is an easy thing to do, very simple to quote. And if it's a group, get in touch with me. Reach out to me. I want to do groups. If you're doing a group for the sake of, let's say, it's a large family. I'll show you really quick here before we run out. And sorry, I was actually just getting back to my screen here, but this is an example of in the quoting process right here. The first question is, where are you going? The second question is, when are you going? And the third question is, anybody going with you? So if it's just you, you're going solo. If it's a couple, you and your spouse or you and your friend, you're two. If it's more than two, there's only one other option here.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
We select that. But if you're working with like a wedding group or a traveling group, things like that, I want to take that administrative burden and I want to help you. I want to make it easy of how you present it. I want to work with the advisor and say, okay, how do we want to present this? Do we want to present this per person? Do we want to present it as a total group? Do we want to present it to a group leader? How are we going to present this? And we'll process those quotes automatically for you.
Sure. Let's see here. A lot of questions just rolling in at the end here, but we have a couple more minutes. What if a client booked a trip? Silver Foxes Travel wants to know. Great name, by the way. What if a client booked a trip, now calls me for trip insurance? Is it doable? So like if people have already booked travel.
It's not only doable, it's recommended. I don't require them to book a component of their travel.
Good.
Friends don't let friends travel without Faye. So I'll just leave you with that.
Oh, we'll have to hashtag that one. What about flight canceled by quote unquote act of God? Airline doesn't have enough people in the flight, so they cancel and claim weather, and you get no reimbursement for connecting. Some of these kind of extenuating circumstances. What's Faye's response to all of that?
So again, let's go back to one of the very, 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 very first slides I talked about. Is we're going to be able to track and monitor your flight. So the people they download and they plug in their flight. So we're going to see that, and we're going to be proactive for it. So not only are we going to see that, but we're actually going to see that. And like there's instances where we're issuing options and we're telling people their flight was canceled or delayed or there's a gate change before the announcement's being made or before the airline's even pushing out notification. So we're able to see that on the backside and document on the backside. But obviously our benefits are going to be automatic. If you have the flight and you missed your flight, not because you were just not there, but because of a situation outside of your control, we're going to either A, make sure you're whole, but then B, we're going to go back to the airline. We're going to go talk to the airline. We're going to say, hey, you canceled this flight for no reason. You got to make these guys whole. That is something that has been very progressive with our government actually the last couple of years too. So they've been supportive of that.
Awesome. Sounds like you're a wonderful just sort of advocate in these circumstances. So I do want to get around to one more pressing question. And then maybe, AJ, if you have any time to jump on the chat afterwards to kind of fill in where there's a few more questions on the end here, but there's one person, James Power, would like to know, what commission levels do you pay?
James, reach out to me and we can always talk. We do, like I said, we coordinate our commissions. We coordinate those for, both the independent contractors, the hosts, the agencies, consortiums. We're going to make sure that we're going to be competitive. we've got that ability. So reach out and let's talk. I don't want to sell you short, but I also want to make sure we're being responsible, right? So
Sounds great.
And then, yeah.
Awesome.
I'll stay on as long as Steph allows me to.
Thank you, AJ. It's been so great to hear about this awesome product. And I know there's a lot of excitement in the comments. So if you want to jump in there and chat with people, that'd be great. And otherwise, thank you all for being here for our coffee spot. We have one more tomorrow with Uniglobe, and we'll put the info to that in the chat. So thanks again. And everyone enjoy the rest of Host Week today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey friends, I'm Lindsay Epperly, the CEO of Jet Set World Travel, and the one thing travel advisors should know about their business is that the tighter you cling, the slower you will grow. I understand how difficult it is to implement something like that upon first hearing it, right? I remember where I was when I first heard it, actually. I was sitting in a hotel room in Santa Monica toward the end of 2019, and my mentor told me this on a Zoom call. We were actually on Zoom before it became really popular, probably back when we should have all bought some stock in it when we had the chance. The meeting actually kicked off the day in LA, which would eventually unfold into 3 site inspections of the best hotels before lunch with a general manager, before another 2 site inspections, and then, of course, cocktails with a prospective agent who wanted to join our team. I did not have time to think about clinging tightly to anything, but I also certainly didn't let that stop my death grip that I had on my schedule or my business, as evidenced by that day alone. I believed that I would let go of control on my own time when I deemed it perfect. Does that sound familiar? What I didn't know at the time was that when I heard those words, in less than half a year, what would happen to all of us, right? My business would be brought to zero. On a personal note, that would actually force my partner, who is also my business partner, and I to walk away from the home we were in the process of purchasing. I also didn't know when I heard those words at the end of 2019 that I was already pregnant with our first child. Life has a very funny way of teaching us the lessons we are supposed to learn, whether we are ready to learn them or not. That might also sound familiar. I lovingly refer to that period of time as the MBA I never wanted, but I have since discovered a rhythm to letting go of control. I talk about this a lot in my company and a podcast that I'm going to tell you about in just a second, but we all seek control in varying degrees. And in some cases, it may manifest as a necessity, whether we think it is the need to control every detail of your work or personal life, or the feeling that you've just become the bottleneck in your business. Holding on to control can really become detrimental. And letting go of that control, it certainly doesn't come overnight. It takes time and effort, but it is the first step toward up-leveling our businesses and our lives. And it's my wish for you this year. So if this is a topic you're interested in continuing the conversation with, I would love to invite you to follow along on Jet Set's recently launched podcast called Who Made You the Boss? Just search that on your favorite podcast platform. And then feel free to connect with me personally. I'm at Lindsay Epperly on Instagram. Now let's start today's Host Week presentations. Off to you, Steph.
Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing that. This is fantastic information. It was a short one thing, but this is a hugely important thing in business and in life. I know I've definitely learned that lesson since getting sick about letting some things go and not to put so much pressure on myself. And we have an extra special treat for you, Lindsay, because many of you have been able to experience the South High Alumni Band's amazing music throughout this week. And if you haven't, here's the thing. So Lindsay is from Georgia, and that kind of had us thinking, what about if we did Georgia on My Mind to kick off day 4 of Host Week? So let's do it. Take it away, South High Alumni Band. Wow. Was that not amazing? Good morning, good afternoon. And that is to all 2,928 of you that have registered. That is right. We broke our record from last year. And I know some of you are watching live and others of you are watching recorded version. Whichever one you are, we are so happy to have you all. Happy Thursday, everyone. We are in day 4 of 5 of Host Week. So if you found us via LinkedIn or Facebook, come on over, join us over at YouTube. That's where the real fun is at. We have another wonderful day of events just for you. I am Steph Lee, the founder of HAR and your tour guide as we go through Host Week. And I may be the MC, but Host Week would not be possible without the entire HAR team of Mary and Abby pitching in and Rita and Juan's help. So a big thank you to the whole HAR team for all the hours they're putting in to make this happen for you. And if you just logged in, make sure you check out today's coffee spot with Faye Travel Insurance, because I think AJ did some reconnaissance before he ended up doing his session, because he hit on every single one of my favorite things. He had a dog photo in there. He talked about cookies. He talked about ice cream. And this was during his session on travel insurance. So how did he do that? I'm not sure. You will have to watch to find out. Also, just a quick note that Host Week would not be possible without our sponsors. And so that we are very, very grateful for our weekly sponsors, KHM Travel Group, Largay Travel, Lucia, Globus Family Travel of Brands, and today's daily sponsor, Nexion Canada. And you know what? I need to give credit where credit is due, because even more importantly, Host Week would not be possible without you tuning in either. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being so active in the comments. I talk to myself and sit in front of a screen all day during Host Week, all week long, and the comments really help keep me going. So thank you so much. We are waiting on our keynote, Andy Young. We have lots of great things coming up the pipeline for you. So we have loads of interviews with hosts and consortia. We have EDUSPOTS and fun up ahead. And today's keynote is sponsored by Uniglobe Travel Center. So let me just check the thread really quick. Oh, cool. So Anne is here. So the keynote today is sponsored by Uniglobe Travel Center, and you may recognize Uniglobe Travel Center. They have on their representative today is April Swales, and she will be introducing our keynote today. She has been on many Friday 15, so you may recognize either her face or her voice. Without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Ms. April Swales.
Thank you, Steph, and everyone on the Host Agency Reviews team for giving us this opportunity to say hello and participate in Host Week 2024. My name is April Swales, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Sales for Uniglobe Travel Center. The Uniglobe brand is an internationally trusted and respected name in the travel industry, and since 1996, Uniglobe Travel Center has been a leading host agency helping at-home travel advisors of all experience levels grow their businesses. We have an incredible, dedicated staff with over 200 years of combined experience, and we're fully equipped to help you reach your goals. We offer all of the tools and technology that you need to operate your business, as well as coaching and mentoring to those with a passion to learn the travel industry. So we have 3 essential pillars of success, and we consider all 3 of them to be equally important: support, business development, and mentorship. But what we're really proud of at UTC is the community we've built, which allows all of us to continue learning no matter where we are in our journey. And this is due to the collaboration and the teamwork of our 600 independent advisors. One of the things we say over and over is that everybody has something valuable to contribute, and our new to industry advisors are no exception to this. It's only logical to see how well other industry skill sets translate to the sale of travel. Teachers, lawyers, healthcare professionals, even financial advisors are continuing to join our network, which I believe is a testament to our level of professionalism. So what can you expect if you decide to join Uniglobe? Well, if you're brand new and you've never served in the role of an advisor, we would recommend starting with our 3-month Mentor You training program. We've been teaching this one-to-one format for about 14 years, so it's evolved over time, just like the industry. And we've decided to shake things up a bit this year. We're introducing some small cohort groups of 3 to 5 people or less as part of this learning process. And this allows the participants to share their thoughts and ideas with their peers in a smaller, more intimate group setting. Learning to anticipate your client's needs is really all about seeing things through different lenses. And we're hoping this new cohort element will facilitate that. Our full-time, experienced coaching staff teaches a dynamic curriculum with clear-cut objectives week over week, so there's no wondering, what should I be working on? Finding and qualifying your clients, navigating booking portals, understanding industry relationships, supporting your clients, especially with in-travel emergencies, protecting yourself, setting up systems and workflows. These are just some of the resources that we share. And while we spend a lot of time teaching you industry fundamentals, we're going to spend a lot of time on your goals too. If you had a magic wand and could build whatever business you want, what would it look like 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? We're going to help you figure that out and map out the next logical steps to getting there. Everyone's path is going to be a little bit different, and that's what makes it great. Now, if you're new to UTC, but you have previous industry experience, you have a couple of different options. You could come in and get busy right away with some initial onboarding, of course, or you could enroll in our 2-month customized mentor program called Mentor Premier. This one-to-one coaching program is customized because our coaches will assess your needs, meet you where you are, and help you fill in the gaps. And for the seasoned advisors with at least 2 years of GDS experience, we offer access to both Sabre and Amadeus platforms with dedicated support during our normal business hours, evenings, weekends, and holidays, along with the same access to continuing education, industry events, our fabulous consortia partner Virtuoso, and the wealth of opportunity they provide. We're sure even the most experienced advisors can benefit from a relationship with Uniglobe. Now that I've shared a little bit about Uniglobe Travel and what we have to offer you, I'm pleased to introduce the next presenter, Anne DeJong, co-founder of the Good Tourism Institute, an organization I have a tremendous amount of respect for. She'll be sharing the topic, using your buying power to push towards sustainable growth. Steph, I want to thank you and your wonderful team again for the opportunity to share a little about Uniglobe today, and I look forward to connecting with all of you soon. Thanks so much.
Anne, wonderful to see you. Thanks so much for coming on today.
No worries. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I am excited every day every week for Host Week. We try to do one session on sustainability or something along those lines, how to be good stewards with our business. So I'm going to turn it over to you because this is something that every travel advisor should be watching.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a session on using your buying power to push towards sustainable growth. And in this session, we're really going to talk about how to use your buying power to push towards sustainable growth as a travel agency. So my name is Anne de Jong. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm sustainable tourism consultant and co-founder of the Good Tourism Institute. At the moment, I'm in Cape Town, South Africa, so not in cold the Netherlands. But I'm working here abroad. I'm very happy to tune in from South Africa. So I work as a sustainable tourism consultant, and together with Rick, I founded the Good Tourism Institute. Rick is a digital marketing expert, and together we believe that sustainability can set any travel business apart if done well. So the Good Tourism Institute is a place where travel businesses can use their sustainable practices and turn them into best-selling travel experiences. We also believe that sustainability should be easy to understand, more attractive, more accessible, and especially add value to travel experiences. So therefore, the Good Tourism Institute transforms travel businesses from sustainable today to successful tomorrow. Okay, let's get started. So in the simplest definition, tourism is the activity of traveling and visiting different places. And as we all know, tourism has a lot of benefits when it has a positive impact on the environment and local communities. But when tourism isn't developed properly, tourism can cause significant downside and negative impact on destinations. And we all know this by now. Everyone knows we should travel sustainably. Every travel agency knows we have to be more sustainable. We must do good at the destination, avoid plastic, reduce CO2 emissions, support the local economy, and protect wildlife. But because of all the possibilities and also limitations, many travel businesses feel lost. So what do you actually need to do practically to become more sustainable? And how can you, as a travel agency, travel business, actually make positive impact? So let's more specifically look at what this impact entails. So looking at the negative impact of tourism, there's a whole long list. But if you don't focus on traveling off the beaten track, or very centrated tourism, could lead to over-tourism. If you focus on international businesses and don't buy locally, it could lead to money leakage, which means that money is leaking out of the country, not benefiting the local economy. But also loss of cultural identity, dependency of tourism, exploitation of wildlife, increased local prices, seasonal jobs, increased pollution, higher carbon emissions. So there's a really long list of negative impacts if, as a travel business, you're not developing sustainable tourism right, or you're not selling the right products. Fortunately, and that's also why we're here, tourism can bring many benefits and a lot of positive consequences to a destination. And when travel businesses work responsibly, they can directly contribute to the well-being of local communities, environment, wildlife, but also secure their future. And this is an overview of the most important positive impacts on a destination if you do tourism well. So it's a better image for the destination, economic growth, increased employment long-term, training opportunities, preservation of culture, environmental and wildlife protection, developed infrastructure, a higher demand for local products, which is good for local economy, increased employment. And also cross-cultural interactions are really important because it allows travelers and locals to meet, to connect, and to understand each other better. So when done right, when selling tourism right, tourism can create a better life for everyone in the destination, including the traveler, because if they have an amazing travel experience that is responsible, they will have a better time. So the goal is therefore to focus as much as possible on increasing the positive impact. So how do we do that? We focus on the basic principles of the triple bottom line. And this framework balances people, planet, and profit, and focuses on creating greater business value and a better world. So people, social responsibility, means respecting and benefiting local cultures, communities, preserving cultural heritage, make sure you promote equal opportunities, and to really focus on employees, local communities, but also the traveler. Planet is environmental protection, so naturally protecting natural areas, so supporting sustainable natural environment. And profit is economic success, and a lot of stigma is around sustainable tourism that profit is not important, but basically the more profit you make or the more successful you are, the more positive impact you can create in a destination. So money is important, and it's also about supporting the local economy, making sure that local businesses are sustainable in themselves so that they can exist without being dependent on Western money. So it really focuses on people, planet, profit. And by having this as a baseline, you know you're in the right space. So sustainable tourism in practice comes down to, well, this is very short, very briefly, supporting the local economy, protecting animal welfare and nature, avoiding and reducing carbon emissions, reducing plastic and general waste, and checking and selecting sustainable suppliers. So working with the right people that have their own influence in the industry. And there's also a growing demand from travelers, like according to the larger research, but also I see it everywhere in the industry. I hear it from agencies, from tour operators, that travelers are looking for sustainable options when they're traveling. And 80%, for example, on Booking.com confirms that sustainability is important. They want to make more sustainable choices. And they also find it important that their travel expenses or their experiences have a positive impact on the destination. And while these studies are really interesting, we unfortunately still have the say-do gap. And this is basically the gap between what travelers say they want to do, so book more sustainable trips, versus what they're actually doing, not yet booking a lot of sustainable trips. And we call this the say-do gap. And there are a few reasons for this. And if you are aware, you have insight, you'll also be able to break through them. For example, one of the reasons for this gap is that travelers feel there's limited availability. So what you can do is offer more sustainable options and sustainable tourism as default. Reason 2 is lack of awareness. So make sure you raise awareness about sustainability and make sure that travelers understand what it means to travel more responsibly or sustainably. Reason 3 is low credibility. And to be honest, who can't blame them? Because a lot of businesses are throwing the word sustainability around without actually backing it up with data. It's not clear what it means. So make sure to be transparent and very practical in your communication. So just presenting what it is you do in sustainability. And then lastly is sustainable travel is more expensive. While this might be true, sometimes, not always, it's important you can show the added value of your travel offer, because travelers are interested in an amazing trip. And if you show them how you're making it better, how you're enhancing their travel experience by making it sustainable, they're willing to pay for that. So keep that in mind. So also, what's the benefit for you before we move into what can you do as a travel agency? The benefit is that you're working on a future-proof company and a company that is successful in the long term. If we look at the statistics and the research, there are large groups of travelers that are looking for responsible travel. So by making yourself more sustainable as a travel agency and offering more sustainable trips and putting emphasis on this, but at the same time offering amazing travel experiences that people want to experience, you're working on a future-proof version of your company and a company that can be successful in the long term. So as a travel agency, your role is as follows. It's to plan and advise our journey, to book the right accommodations and excursions, but also to create a positive impact on the destination. Because in the tourism industry, every business has the responsibility to offer tourism that is sustainable and benefits the destination. I don't believe there will be any travel business that is aiming to create a negative impact in the destination. So it should be focused on how can we make it better. And travel can create a positive impact. And ultimately, it comes down to fair tourism, where everyone involved is treated equally and everyone benefits. So as a travel advisor or agency, I think there are 3 key aspects where you can influence and how you can push towards sustainable growth. 1 is buying power. 2nd is supplier communication. And 3 is raising awareness. So I'm going to go through them quickly and give you some insights on how you can actually use your buying power to drive this change. So the first is obviously buying power. And buying power refers to the influence you have through your purchasing decisions. And by selecting sustainable suppliers, you can, well, one, ensure your own customers travel more sustainably, but also contribute to the growth of sustainable travel options. And buying power is literally having influence on what you buy from suppliers and sell to your customers. You have a really unique position here because you decide what you offer and how you promote it to your travelers. So how can you use your buying power? You can, one, conduct research to identify your own suppliers that have developed sustainable practices. And this includes considering their environmental initiatives, community engagement, but also, for example, their overall commitment to sustainable tourism. And you can also develop sustainability criteria for evaluating potential suppliers. So first, you kind of find out which of my suppliers are working on sustainability, and then you define criteria. For example, you want them to have a sustainable mission statement. You want them to have focus on local communities. And you want to make sure that they have efforts to minimize the environmental impact of their operations. And by creating your own criteria or guidelines, you kind of keep track of what you find is important in sustainable tourism and create a very transparent system for yourself to evaluate your suppliers. And then after your buying power, if you have selected those more responsible accommodations or trips, you can then create responsible travel itineraries that incorporate eco-friendly accommodations, local impact, low impact transportation options, but also travel experiences and activities that directly support local communities and conservation efforts. For example, a local dinner at a family or a visit to a wildlife conservation center. And you can also then communicate sustainability labels if that's one of your criteria. For example, Green Key, Travel Life, Green Globe, so any label associated with special travel packages to enhance transparency and to really build trust with customers. You have to be practical and transparent. And this is also where your criteria, your own criteria come in, because if anyone is asking, you kind of want to have something you can present. Like you can say, I'm basing my sustainable selection on these criteria. So really be transparent. The second is supplier communication. And well, this is basically that you have the opportunity to advocate for and request sustainable practices from your supplier. And it really involves fostering open and collaborative relationships. So not just telling them, I want you to be more sustainable, but starting the conversation, like how can we together create a more sustainable supply chain? And then with that, creating a shared sense of commitment. Before you can communicate sustainability to your partners and suppliers, it's very important that you start the conversation. So you have to find out what's their point of view on sustainability, what have they already implemented, and what are their future plans. So you kind of want to figure out on what level they are, and then work from that. Because the first scenario is that if your partner or your supplier is already focused on sustainability, which is great. So if you identified they already work with sustainability, they care about it and are trying to do their best, ask them to share more information and insights. How do they see sustainability and what are they currently doing? You can then also develop joint sustainability guidelines to be on the same page and to keep track of what they're doing. And if they're really advanced, if you're really into it, you can also sign a memorandum of understanding or an agreement to really commit to implement and promote sustainable practices. The other scenario is that your partner is not committed to sustainability yet, or you haven't really found anything on their website. It's not really visible. First, again, is to start the conversation and to find out why. Perhaps they don't really understand, or they have misconception, or worst case, they really don't care. Also very possible. But it's important to provide them with more information. So emphasize increased demand for sustainability. Think about that probably your partners are, well, they're in business, they care about their profits, and you have to take into account the growing amount of travelers looking for sustainable tourism. Then share insights into these changing customer preferences. What are they looking for? Offer resources for them to educate themselves, and also share relevant articles for inspiration. To make sure that you equip them with the knowledge and tools to make their own decisions, and then go back to scenario focus and committed, and then work from there. The goal here is for your buying power and your communication is to really focus on making sure that your supply chain, so from what you're buying to what's actually taking place in the destination, is as sustainable as possible. Lastly is raising awareness. And this is raising awareness among your customers, so your travelers. Because you have the influence on your customers' behavior by raising awareness about sustainability. And you can help your customers better understand how they can really make a difference by informed decision making. So help them make informed decisions, allowing them to choose options that align with their own values. You can have increased positive impact, because if travelers are informed and encouraged to maximize their own positive impact, you have more positive impact on the long term. And this is also connected to the long-term industry transformation, because the more travelers are aware of sustainability and know how they can contribute, the more positive impact. You kind of need this snowball effect to create a more sustainable supply chain, but also industry on the long term. And then you also have increased customer engagement and loyalty. Because being sustainable is also really good for your positioning in the market, your brand, and your customer loyalty. Because businesses that raise awareness tend to engage with customers on a deeper level, creating loyalty. And also they're more, travelers are more likely to be loyal to a brand that does something good. So how can you raise awareness? So you can help your customers to better understand the impact of your travel choices, of their travel choices. So you can share resources that explain sustainability by putting your mission statement, your thoughts on your website, to write a blog about why sustainability is important, to provide tips for responsible travel behavior. For example, after they've booked their trip, so to really provide them with additional information how they can be a good traveler, to showcase sustainable travel options. So in your packages that you offer, highlight the ones that are sustainable, to really put it up front, and then to highlight responsible tour packages. And ideally, but that's a long-term process, you should have sustainable tourism as a default. So while you ease into it, it's important to start slowly. I'm not expecting any business to be fully sustainable overnight. It's a long-term process. But it's important that step by step, you use your influence, your buying power, and your communication to drive this change. And your influence and impact really provide an opportunity to be proactive advocate for sustainability within the travel sector. And at the same time, you can build great relationships with your supply chain, making sure that trips are better operated and that you have better connections, that, as I said, you can attract loyal and satisfied customers. You can position your business in the market better, and you have a clear mission statement and really a purpose of doing good. And if you communicate this well while at the same time genuinely doing it and really position your business in the market and stand out from your competition. Important here is that, as I said, it's step by step. Start small and make sure that you have it very clear for yourself. Why do you think it's important for you? And then translate that through your business. So, wrapping this up, so at the Good Tourism Institute, we have 2 ways to support you. So if you're interested in learning more about how to combine sustainability with successful entrepreneurship, but also to find out how you can step-by-step implement that in your business, we have a free ebook that can be downloaded from our website, goodtourisminstitute.com/ebook. That includes 6 paths that contribute to best-selling sustainable travel experiences, how to select them, and how to use them to drive change. Also, if you download our ebook, you'll be added to our newsletter and always be up to date on our new programs. And then you can also, secondly, enroll in our Travel Success Program. And this is our flagship program that helps you transform your business from sustainable today to successful tomorrow. And you really get to work through our case studies, practical assignments, and to elevate your good tourism impact, utilize the power of sustainability to achieve success and to stand out in the market, all while doing good and creating good tourism. We're also launching our new sustainable marketing program next week, but if you are in the newsletter, you'll be updated on that. And then for the Travel Success Program, we have a 20% discount exclusively for Host Week. So it should be up on the promotion page. And also, if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks so much, Anne. Well, we
welcome.
have some questions coming in if you're okay with a few minutes for questions.
Absolutely.
All right. So we have one from Malia, and she says, this will be a focus for my new agency. Could I please know how to access this presentation, or more specifically, the slideshow? So would you be willing to share the slideshow and we can send it out to people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So Malia, what we'll do is at the end of the week, we send out kind of a recap email afterwards that has links to the different presentations, as well as any of the resources that they provide. So we'll link to Anne's in there. And then Malia is also asking, where can I go to find national, international organizations that focus on these issues and maybe to attend their conference? So I know you're heavier on the European side. What are some good ones there?
I think, in Europe, sustainability is very much intertwined into the general conferences a lot. For example, ITB in Berlin is taking place in 4 weeks already. And almost every stage has aspects on sustainability. I believe the ATTA conference from Adventure Travel has a lot of sustainability included. And I think what's important if you want to look for better resources is to really find out your focus point. So for example, ATTA Adventure Travel focuses on adventure travel. So if that's your thing, then really focus on an association or an organization that is in that niche, because that will help you really apply sustainability to your own operations, to your own business. Yes, I think go for that for the first start.
Yeah. And Malia, here in the US, I would say the ATTA, the Adventure Travel Trade Association, is going to be your best bet. You can check on our events calendar, which we'll link to in the comments, but ATTA puts their events on there. And I think that's going to be the one that has more education on sustainability than you'll find anywhere else. And you'll also find they have a lot of local meetups and different things, and you'll find a lot of like-minded individuals in there.
Yeah. Another option could be certification schemes, for example, Travel Life, or Green Key, to kind of find out like-minded organizations there.
Perfect. Yeah. And I know that Travel Leaders also has they partnered with the ATTA, and I think this is still going. I know they were looking at revamping it, but they have their adventure travel course certification, and that has sustainability components in there as well if your host agency is with travel leaders. Let's see. One last question. Well, actually, you know what? I think we've room for one more question. So, do you assist clients with alternative? So I know you're not booking, Anne, but for clients that are looking for alternative transportations to air travel, are you aware of any companies that specifically focus on non-air travel options that are more sustainable?
And then you're referring to operators in the destinations too?
Yeah, like are there any big ones within Europe?
So one that's recently really got up is Byway Travel, which is a UK company that's only focused on train travel, and they do trips throughout Europe. And yeah, that's a really good one to look at.
And that BIWAY?
Yeah, Byway, yeah. I can also send it to you just to be sure that you can link it correctly.
Perfect.
Yeah, so also if you, I think also the Green Traveler has a lot of train trips. And then also, which is good are the, for example, hiking experiences or biking. In Europe is also really popular now that you go for a week hike when there's not really a transportation in the entire experience. So that's also something to look at, because that's a whole different discussion. But the carbon emissions in terms of flying, sometimes you can't really go around it. So then we have to make sure that whatever we do in a destination is as low carbon as possible. So if you're going overseas, also really look in the destination how you can offer low carbon experiences.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Anne, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your expertise in this area.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, if you have other questions for Anne, she has her info up there where you can contact her at the Good Tourism Institute. And thank you all for tuning in for this particular segment, because I think one of the coolest things, just like with our keynote the other day on human trafficking, you as a travel agency, and one of the neatest things about starting up your own company is it frees you from any chains that you might have had you been with a corporation. You can actually make so much, you can affect change on such a large level compared to you as an individual within an organization, because you can build your company around the things that are important to you. So hopefully sustainability is one of those things, because we are all in the travel industry. And in order for us to have a great future together, we all need to make sure that the people and the environment and the animals, everything is taken care of in these beautiful destinations we are visiting. So welcome if you are just joining on. For those that have not registered yet for Host Week, let's get you signed up. You can go to hostagencyreviews.com/Host Week. That will allow you to get the daily emails with the agenda, and you'll also have calendar links for all of the sessions so you can download them to your calendar. And one thing you do not want to miss tomorrow is our Luminary Awards ceremony. So if you haven't heard of it, this is our annual ceremony where we award the best of the best host agencies. And the HAR team likes to make it a little bit wacky. And the host agencies also have a lot of fun with it too. So please join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. And focusing on today, so what do we have in store for you? So much fun. Yesterday, we were a little bit behind on schedule due to a very small tech snafu. And we had to cut out all of our office mascot slideshows. So all those cute pets you've been sending in, we weren't able to show, which broke my heart. So we have extra cuteness for you today. Juan, do you want to bring up the cuties for us, will you? As we're running through these adorable faces, let's see. Yesterday, another note, we had to cut out the session that Mary and I were doing on HAR survey reports to grow your agency. But the good news is we will be doing a separate webinar on it, which means we'll have even more time than we would have if we did it during Host Week. So if you're interested in joining us, and I hope you are, we will put the link to register in the comments. So we will see you February 21st. And a quick shout out to Alexis on this, who I know is relatively new to the industry. She has her scene iDog Maya in here. And I wanted to let you know, Alexis, that we have Maya up on the screen and that batch of pets. So she is looking really great. And if you want your mascot featured, go ahead and send them to mary@hostagencyreviews.com, and we will try our hardest to work them into our host week. Last thing to mention, if you haven't signed up for our giveaways yet, we have an amazing tour in Australia. Or maybe you want to do one of the few, we have a couple nights stay at the Barcelo resorts or Occidental resorts. If that's not your thing, I bet a Hilton stay is your thing. So go ahead, sign up today because we are going to be doing the drawings tomorrow at the end of the day. So make sure to tune in to see if you won. And next up is our, Marilyn, great thing. Marilyn just wrote in, look for certified B corporations when you're looking for partners in the supply chain. All right, so we are entering our Meet the Consortia segment where we have today one consortium interview and 7 hosts. And it's worth noting today that the companies we're interviewing today accept advisors from both the US and Canada, with the exception being Independent by Flight Center, who only works with Canadian agents. And today's consortium is Ensemble, who is based in Toronto. They are a co-op with their direct members. So the direct members are able to participate in the profit sharing plans there. Size-wise, Ensemble is sitting in at 750 agencies in their network, and minimum annual sales start at $350,000 of preferred supplier sales if you're going direct with them and not under one of their host agencies. So let's go ahead and see what Ensemble has to say. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Consortia, Meet the Consortia section of Host Week. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first Meet the Consortia, which hopefully by this far in the week, it is not. But if it is, all of our consortia guests come on. They get the exact same questions so that you can compare the questions against the different consortia and see which ones, which answers kind of fit best with your personality and what you are looking for. So today we have on with Ensemble, we have Shelly Ransom, who is the VP of Business Development. Hello, Shelly.
Hello, hello, hello. So excited to be here and to be with all the ICs. What an exciting week.
Yes, we are so excited to have you on. So thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Well, let's dive into the questions. So for those of you, just a quick reminder for those of you that are new to independent contracting and new to the travel industry. So if you are joining a host agency, they will most likely, I would say 99.9% of them on our site, belong to a consortium. And so it's great to know not only the host agency and kind of get a feel for their programs, but also understand the consortium that they're with, what kind of programs they offer, what kind of trainings, education, marketing you can tap into. So our first question, Shelly, is what are the most popular programs that ICs can access and use that are unique to your consortium?
Absolutely, Steph. Thank you so much. And what a great question, because it is so important. You want to know all of the resources as an IC as you're coming in. So let's talk about what makes Ensemble a little different, better, and special. And the first one is definitely ADX, which is our proprietary technology platform. It provides air booking, hotel booking activities, about to have cruise added to it. What makes it awesome for air is that we have a no debit memo policy, which basically we guarantee if you book through it, there's no debit memo. And as an IC, that is hugely important. Next, I would definitely say is our marketing. And our marketing is robust. To say it's robust is to minimize it, honestly. And when our members talk about what is most important to them, 99% of the time, marketing is at the top, after community, of course. But from a program perspective, it's marketing. And that includes digital marketing that's free for all of our members and our ICs and within our members, as well as our paid print media range, which is gorgeous. And then events, the fun stuff. We have lots of fun events for ICs to get together with other ICs. It's so important to feel a part of a community. And we also have we have Uncharted, which is our online event, which has been really popular with the ICs and many of our companies because they get to meet partners virtually. They get to build the relationship network. When you don't have the huge travel budget to have options like that, it's really important. And then we're bringing our regional events back this year. So we'll be in more marketplaces to really service those ICs who can't always get to Vegas with us in the fall. And then finally, the newest thing for us, which is super exciting, are the new updates we've made for our ICs and our agencies' websites. And that would be that we have client sites, which is a new platform. Super cool, very slick looking, as well as new online booking capabilities and search capabilities for cruise, which is really excited to turn your site into something that can monetize. So very excited for all those things.
That's fantastic. So for those of you that aren't familiar with debit memos, which I'm guessing is most of you, I'm going to put a link in the comments to our article on debit memos that will talk more about what they are. If you're booking in the GDS, but the ADX is not a GDS, which is what's different about it. If you're booking in there, you can get debit memos, and they can be costly. So we kind of go over the details of that for those of you that are wondering.
Yeah, definitely look into it and understand what the risks are there, because to have a zero debit memo or a debit memo guarantee offer out there for our agencies and their members, that is a huge value and a huge security. If you're going to book air, it takes the guesswork out of it, as well as definitely gives you a sense of security that you're not going to do something that's wrong.
Going to cause those debit memos.
Those debit memos, exactly.
Yeah, because they are not fun and they are always a surprise. No one ever is like, let me do this.
And it's always the first time. Yeah. So go look at the article. Yeah. Go look at that article. You'll understand why this is special.
Yes. Yeah. So next question. So tell us about some of the training opportunities you offer specifically to help the ICs grow their business. I know you mentioned a few, but you can either expand on those or tell us about more.
Yeah, we have. Let's talk about our Ensemble Training Academy, which was launched in spring of 23. Super exciting because it really talks about a broad spectrum of topics, everything from sales tactics, lead generation, customer service, how to actually run your business, not just the training pieces of it or the travel pieces of it, but the business pieces of it, which is super important for ICs. And then the Universe of Ensemble, which is our platform that's open 24/7, has hundreds of programs on it. Everything, again, from product and knowledge and partner knowledge to things like how to build better presentations, how to be better on social media, pretty much anything you could ever want. And then probably my most exciting is our Further the World FAMs. So
that sounds fun. I like the name.
Furthering your world. 24 FAMs over the course of 24. We launched 6 last year. They were super well attended. They are everything from the Antarctic in one of our partners to full-scale African safaris to everything from the Maldives and Jamaica, Egypt, Ecuador, so many different locations. And what makes them a little different, better, special is that not only are you going on the trip, but you're also getting a social media boost and platform to help you engage, to make sure that you're getting something out of it to grow your business. So we really work on skill-based things like better photography while we're there, or we find some skill that will help improve our IC's ability to market and sell themselves and to keep themselves not just educated about a product and a partner, but also about how to run their business.
That's fantastic. And there's 24 of them in 2024?
Exactly. It's
wow. That's very aspirational. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and they're all out there. So for all of our members, you can actually go online and see the full list of them. Incredible destinations. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, let's see. So next question is, as far as Ensemble goes, what are your top 3 values and how does that contribute to the culture that you're trying to cultivate?
Absolutely. So the first one, and I think if anybody's heard either myself talk at events or has seen Michael speak or read any of the articles, the first and most important one is that people make travel better. We really feel like people are the most important part of travel, and we really want to make sure that that drives how we engage with our ICs. We want to make sure that the business is profitable so that they can make a living at this and can stay in this and can stay in travel. We focus on things like how to differentiate and utilize your skills that are different than artificial intelligence and how to make sure that you're using it as a tool and not to be afraid of it. We do the things around education. We really focus on the art and science, the expertise, empathy, all of the things that make an advisor special. And we really help cultivate that in our advisors. And as with our members. So very focused on making sure that we keep people in travel and that people make travel better. That's the first. The second is that connections matter. And that's really about making sure that our advisors at the advisor level, that they have opportunities to connect with buyers and sellers, that they have the ability to connect with other agencies and members to really learn from one another. And I think that if you look at some of the videos on our website, you'll see that the agents that are a part of our consortia really feel like that connection to other members and to partners is something that they wouldn't get other places. It's a very familial, I don't know how else to say that. We are a family. We try to be a family as much as we possibly can. So that shared energy really helps. They bring business services to one another. And so you really get a community that's there to help and grow. And then finally, we really feel like ICs require partners rather than just affiliations. So it's not really just about being a part of a organization or putting a brand on yourself, but having a business partner that will help you make choices, help you make better decisions. And we're launching multiple programs around that, not just the universe of Ensemble and the Ensemble Training Academy, but also things like business services. And then we really pull through our values into what we do. And we offer things like Spark, which is our giving platform where ICs can take their charitable choice that they have, whether it's Make-A-Wish Foundation or something more personal to them. We have 10 that we support at Navigator Group or an Ensemble, but we give the ICs the ability to add that to their sites as well, a giving platform where we partner with them to provide 2,000 different options where they can really engage their philanthropy. And we want to make sure that all of those things pull through. That's all about keeping people in travel, keeping partnerships going, bringing our values and our culture to life in everything that we do. So
good stuff. Very good stuff here.
It is good stuff. We love it. It's an exciting time to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we run across every year, so we do our annual survey and get great data from it. And it's really interesting because one of the challenge that advisors have, and this is whether they're new or experienced, whether they're independently accredited or if they're hosted, but the number one challenge for everyone consistently is always finding new clients. So what have you seen members or ICs in your network do to successfully find them?
So networking is always the thing, right? That's always out there, and making sure that you are really leveraging the people that you know, not just in travel, but the people that you know in general, to make sure that you're making sure that they know that you provide this service. That's number one. And then beyond your own network is increasing your network, which is social media. The reality is really there that you have to engage social media. It's no longer a if, or it's no longer a maybe or an option for you. The reality is that 70+% of searches are now happening in social media platforms first. And if you think about that, for ages 50 and under, 70% start in social media platforms. If that's the reality, then you need to be in social media. And so it really is one of the most important things you can do, sharing your visuals, promoting what you do, being present there yourself, not being afraid to show your own face in the travel and be your honest, authentic self. We really are focusing on how to provide additional resources and platforms for our members and our ICs along that lines to extend their reach. And then finally, really focusing on your training and development. So understanding how to use tools like LinkedIn Sales Navigator or Zoom Info, and that your training and your development is not just about, again, the product, but also the business. And so we have a lot of business generating, lead generating classes within Ensemble Training Academy. We really focus on how to help them build their business.
That's a key component that can sometimes get lost. I've had advisors talk to me, overtraining, essentially being like, I've taken 72 different courses and I've got these certificates, but they haven't made a booking. And it's that component that's super important is knowing how to do the sales.
We focus on everything from how to build a sales pipeline, how to source business, how the business building pieces of it. So the same things that we do in developing our business, we make sure that our agents have the same capacity and are doing it with us, that we're all building together. Yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So our last question, fun question. And this is your first time answering this, Shelly. So I'm excited to hear. No pressure, but
yeah.
If your company was a game, and it can be any type of game, what would it be and why?
I love this question. So I saw last year's question because I'm that person that has to look up everything. And last year's question, much happier with this one. I don't know what I would choose. I saw we said popcorn. I love it. I'm very, very happy to get the game question because
good.
I love the answer that I get to give. And that's, I would say, we are Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And not for the obvious reason. I would say,
fun.
I know. Okay. So it's Who Wants to Be a Billionaire? And the reason is, one, if you think about that game when it came out, and I may be aging myself a little bit here, but when it came out, the daytime or the nighttime game show was a dead topic. Nobody was doing nighttime game shows anymore. It had been dead as a genre for a long time, and they brought it back. They were a genre-changing game, and we at Ensemble want to do the same thing. We want to be a genre-changing consortia. We want to be different. We want to bring back part of that keeping people in travel focused and really focused on the advisor and the member and their profitability. The second is that what made it successful, or what makes the players on it successful, just like what makes our members successful, is that they have lifelines, that you can phone a friend, that you have the audience to collectively go out to, right? It is a collaborative way of winning. And I love that because that is exactly the feeling at Ensemble. You have your lifelines that are us, but at the same time, you also can, and we can phone your friends. You also have the audience there, which is your consortia, your other member partners that are part of the consortia. So you have your lifelines. And then finally, there is the obvious reason, which is that we want our agents to be millionaires. Hello. At the end of the day, we want to keep people in travel. So we want to make sure they're profitable. And we are all about that. It's really focusing on the profitability of our ICs and our members.
Well, that is going out with a bang, Shelly. That was really good. So we pre-record all of these, but I'm going to go back to my team and see if anyone has said this yet, because this is, we like to chat and be like, oh, this person said this. Oh, this was such a good one. Oh, this one came up today. So I can't wait to share with everyone.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again for joining us, Shelly. For those of you that are interested in learning more about Ensemble, and that's either, I know there's independent advisors that are also tuning in. So whether you want to join as a direct member or with one of their host agencies, we're going to put a link to Ensemble's profile where you can get more information about them. You can also read reviews from some of their direct members or ICs and get all sorts of information. So make sure to check that out.
And we do have a host special.
Oh, you do have a host special. Perfect.
We do.
Okay. So tell us about this.
Absolutely. So for members joining during through the end of the month, we will honor a 30% off.
Is that through the end of February? Because
the end of February. Yep.
Excellent.
So we'll offer 30% off for anybody that becomes a direct member. So for any host agencies, we are a great place for host agencies, if you didn't know. But
that's perfect.
Also those ICs or those agencies that are about to become their own, and we're here to help. We're here to help build business. And
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Shelly, and everybody. We will be moving into the host interviews very shortly, so stick around.
Thank you. Thanks, Steph. Bye.
Bye. Well, that's fantastic on multiple levels, Shelly. Thank you so much. I love that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire answer. And this is noteworthy as well, because that is our first Host Week special for a consortia. So those of you that are looking to get your own accreditation and go independent, something to note. And just a reminder for everybody, don't forget that there are over 60 specials from hosts, suppliers, now a consortia, tech companies, etc., and they are exclusive to Host Week attendees. So we will put a link to those specials in the comments so you can check them out already if you haven't. And a note that earlier today, someone asked about ASTA's roadmap course that I did with ASTA. And so I did reach out to them. I haven't checked my emails yet, but there may still be some more specials being added. So make sure to look at them, and I will let you know and keep everyone updated if we get the ASTA special worked out before the end of the week. So let's see. We are going to put a link into the comments about, I don't want to go into explaining this, but what a consortium is and the role it plays and how they relate to host agencies. So if you're just tuning in for this, that'll give you a broader understanding of the relationship between the two. And then speaking of host agencies, we are right in time for our Meet the Host segment. And I joke around about Rita's schedule, but seriously, her run of show is a lifesaver and keeps me on track. I do not know what I would do without her organizational skills. So this is the Meet the Host segment, and this is the place where you are going to be able to hear from a variety of host agency representatives about their company, their culture, their programs. And if you missed any of the past host agencies, no problem. They're all recorded and can be found on our YouTube channel underneath our Host Week playlist. Sorry, I'm getting a cold. I don't know if you can tell, but I jinxed myself at the beginning of the week by saying, oh, I had COVID like a week ago. Now I won't get sick for Host Week. And of course, now I'm getting sick. But if you have questions for any host agencies, drop them in the comments. Don't be shy. Introduce yourself. And sometimes it takes a little icebreaker to make these things happen. For today, I'm Michelle from Travel Edge is in. Perfect timing. So I want everybody to put into the comments as we start off this host segment, because we want to get the conversations going. Where was the last destination you traveled to, and what was your favorite part of the trip? So for me, mine was Vienna in October, and my favorite thing was the espresso and hanging out in the coffee houses. So while you are all sharing all the cool places that you have been to and that you have been visiting, let me tell you a little bit about our next host. So we are going to kick things off with Travel Edge, and Michelle is in the comments here. They are also out of Toronto, and Navigator is their parent company. So that is also the parent company of Ensemble, who just recently acquired, Navigator recently acquired Ensemble in 2022. So if you missed the Ensemble interview right before this, would be good to listen to it if you're interested in Travel Edge. And again, all of today's hosts take on Canadian and U.S. advisors, with the exception of Independent by Flight Center and Largay Travel. So Travel Edge was founded in 2001 and now has a network of over 450 advisors that bring in an impressive $500 million in sales. So let's dive in, see what Travel Edge is up to, what makes them unique, besides the fact that they take both U.S. and Canadian advisors.
And welcome back to Host Week. I am so excited to see you here again today. We have Michelle Leal with Travel Edge talking to us all things about Travel Edge this morning. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Rita. How are you?
Good. I'm like, it might be this afternoon by the time everybody sees this.
I know. First week back into it, right?
Right. Future planning now. But before we get into all that, please tell us, we would love to start out with a success story about one of your Travel Edge advisors, and how did you and the team help them to grow?
Sure. So first I have to say, I don't know that I can zero in on just one success story, but something that I discussed last year on this same, New Year's launching was a pilot program that we were working on, which is a mentorship program for new advisors coming into the business. So we've been working on this. We built out a whole learning and training system, and we also added in a mentoring component where, depending on which entry you come in at, you can have one-on-one support. So I've worked with about 75 to 80 advisors over the last year. And really the biggest success story that we're seeing is getting their business launched quicker. So, normally you have a really long ramping period, a long learning curve. But with our proprietary tool by the name of ADX, as well as a full learning management program, and then the additional support of a mentoring program, as well as our other layers of support teams, we've really been able to track the data and show the success of this program. So I do have a couple of star pupils, I must say. And what I see is, you take that inception of passion and you build that into a business. So we are focused on, a bit more of the luxury, as well as really giving them a solid foundation for their business to launch into the future. The pilot proved successful, and we will now be launching it a little bit more full stream ahead this year.
Loving that. And especially if you can get into your business and start it faster, I think that is a very nice win at the beginning when you're setting up too. What would you say are the top 3 ways that you support your new advisors? I know you kind of dabbled in it a little bit.
Yeah. So this is really a mirage. So, I've been in travel for quite some time, as well as the rest of our teams. I think Travel Edge for itself has built a reputation about being in the luxury and premium space. So helping with that success is our strong partnerships. Preferred partners mean everything, especially in this space. Cultivating those relationships, nurturing those relationships. And this is a give back, right? We ask certain things from partners, they ask things from us, and it is a back and forth with our main goal at providing some ROI, some return of investment for that partnership. So that is one of the foundational pillars of any successful business. So relationship. B, for us, for Travel Edge, we have a proprietary tool, which you may have heard of, which is called ADX. So access to this tool puts you in the forefront of technology. We have been building this program for about the last 9 years. We've spent about $10 million on it. And what it is basically a platform on the front end where you can book air, you can book insurance. We have all of our hotels loaded in. We have activities, and very exciting, in the next probably month or so, we will be launching full access to cruise as well. So giving our advisors one place, you no longer have to learn GDS. You don't need to understand that language. It's a really intuitive and easy to maneuver in order to make your business more efficient, right? All after productivity.
Yes. Yeah. Something that we sometimes forget about in the business owner realm is operating the business.
Right. And then the third piece is something that I'm passionate about, and that is training. So we, again, we're allowed to create a training program. Our owner, towards the end of COVID, actually, when most people were having to pull back, he gave us funds in order to create the program that we had been dreaming of for all these years. So we've had a dedicated learning team that has built out a full onboarding pathway. And with that onboarding pathway, we also have the mentoring guidance. We're able to support, and there's different pathways. Some people might be specializing in, higher end experiential tours, multi-generational, maybe your cruise, maybe your air. So we have different pathways so that you can learn one pathway, then maybe you want to venture off to something else as something new is coming in. So gaining that firsthand knowledge, having somewhere that they can go to find their answers quite quickly, gives them a lot of confidence in their business ability. And then we also include in your learning program and pathway, as you go along your route here at Travel Edge, is we have dedicated knowledge trips. So incorporating FAMs, where you're going with a small community of advisors, usually about 10, with a host from Travel Edge, so that you actually have that hands-on in-destination experience is completely invaluable. It's important to get out there, know the products, meet the partners, and then you can come home and sell so much more confidently.
Wonderful that very like cohesive step to supporting the new advisors. Now, what would you say are Travel Edge's top 3 values, and how do they contribute to your culture?
Oh, that's kind of a fun one. Well, I would say that our values are really community, passionate about community. My role now is VP of Member Engagement. We have created this role just because we know how important community is. The other would be enabling our advisors in a professional way, and then profitability. So I'm going to dive in a little bit. And I guess I would say that our culture here is best described by the type of people that are drawn or attracted to Travel Edge. So, people in this industry are passionate. They're usually passionate about travel. They usually have a thirst for knowledge. For Travel Edge, we also find people quite creative and curious. And those advisors have really been able to create a base in the luxury market and then kind of veer off into their own specialization. But I think that's kind of the core. And as we look at experience in a community, like what does that mean? You can go to, there's so many great host agencies, right? We all feel that community is important. But really being able to enable and make the most of their skill set with the right support. Again, I'm going to mention partners. And then at Travel Edge, we're also very keen to make them more profitable and enable that business model so that they have a good value and a good foundation within that community. So peer-to-peer support. We have managers, we have directors, we do virtual events, we do live events, creating that engagement opportunity, I'm sure you have seen as well, is vital.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I love that you, being a travel business owner, have that emphasis on profitability too in your core values as well. So in our annual survey, the number 1 challenge for advisors is finding clients. Can you give us a pro tip on that?
Oh, finding clients. Sure. So one of my favorite is actually like a grassroots effort. And that would be local. So when I took off for about 7 years when my kids were young to stay home and raise my kids. I think there are so many professionals, men and women, that are staying home and, pulling into those type of professional stay-at-home parents really can just spark interest. So a mother's club, for example, or going to something local like, your kids are in baseball. Networking amongst those peer groups that have settled in to create their little life, I think is a really good grassroots effort. It's part of our comfort level. And I think that's a great place to start. You do, of course, your friends and family, but then local. There's so many local pieces that you're able to put some of those seeds, talk about your trips. And of course, when you're in person with people, they're able to feel that energy and that passion about the trips, about your business. And I think that's a great place to start. And people kind of forget that. We live in such a social world and such a world of technology that is always key.
Right.
But just sort of kind of rolling back in time and going to those grassroots,
yes,
I think is also very important.
Yes, going back to basics. Yes, loving that one. So tell us, we're at the fun portion, the fun question of our little interview here. If Travel Edge was a game, what game would it be?
If Travel Edge was a game. So I would say if Travel Edge was a game, and I love this question, it's always so fun. I think we would be Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. So can I be Vanna White for a little while?
Yes.
A brunette Vanna White. But the idea of spinning that wheel of excitement, where are you going to land? You know, we have to be ready for anything at any time. And, you know, you get to that place on the wheel, you then have that experience. And as a result, you're able to create something new. At Travel Edge, we have an owner who is very entrepreneurial. So we are actually encouraged to go outside of the box, to take risks that maybe, you know, we wouldn't have taken, you know, 15 or 20 years ago. I mean, I've been in this business 30 some years, but I think that it's very exciting to be able to support varied business models, you know, see where you land, see what sort of experience you can pull out, because you never know what you're going to get, right? And that's what travel is. Every day it's something new. You have to have a business that is set up fluidly enough to be able to support advisors in different ways, because every advisor needs something different. It is not a cookie cutter industry. Every day is different for them. Sometimes it can be very stressful. Some days can be very rewarding.
Right.
So being able to provide that stability on the back end and help them take the risks and spin the wheel to see what they're going to get on the next round, I think is something that we're very good at.
I think that is so much fun, and like kind of starting your day thinking about like, okay, what are we spinning today? What are we creating today? Love that one. Alrighty, so I know that you don't have a host week specific promotion, but you do have a promotion going on right now for Travel Edge. So can you share that a little bit with us?
Oh my gosh. So, you know, anyone who was on here with me last year, you know, heard me talking about a bit of a new program that we started last year, which is called a venture program, which is helping new to business advisors come into the industry. And again, I mentioned the mentoring program. Well, spinning off of the big wheel of this venture program is a new campaign that is actually launching today. So today, Friday, January 5th. And entries need to be in by February 5th. This is called Big Ticket. So we are inviting participants to submit a video explaining why they should be chosen as the next great travel advisor for Travel Edge. So I have a link that I can put into our site. It's https thebigticket.traveledgenetwork.com. This is for advisors exclusively, you know, that will be part of Travel Edge. So as far as the winner, so it's a contest where you come in, you explain why you should be, you know, this winner and this best travel advisor. We then have a couple of prizes that are outlined and that we will be giving away as well to some of those contest winners. So very exciting to try something new again. Being able to go out and try something a little bit different. You know, we have now created this foundation of this learning and mentoring training program. You know, we're set up to help advisors be successful, and we're very excited to ignite some new interest out in the marketplace for advisors that are interested in, you know, seeing what travel is about, seeing what Travel Edge is about.
Yes, that sounds like such a fun promotion, and it is up on our promotions page. You can go ahead and check that out now as I get tongue twisted. And you can also check out all about Travel Edge in their profile. Both of those links will be scrolling up as we keep going through Host Week. So, Michelle, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us a bit about Travel Edge today.
Thank you, Rita. And I look forward to seeing you again on one of our next podcasts or shows.
Yes, likewise. And thanks, travel advisors, for tuning in. We will see you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks so much, Michelle. I just checked things out and I saw, along with the enrollment to Travel Edge, the winner gets a celebratory vacation, which is pretty amazing. Well, how is everybody doing? If you're doing good, give a thumbs up if you like the stream. And if you're really, really liking it, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you catch everything we put out in the future. And by the way, if you did find us on LinkedIn or Facebook, come on over to YouTube. And if you're wondering why your comments aren't matching what's going on with the stream, pull the red play bar at the bottom all the way to the right, and that should fix it for you. All right, so next in line, we have Direct Travel, and they have been around since 1953, which is most impressive, and they accept advisors from the US and Canada. At last count, they were sitting around 680 advisors with total sales of $1 billion. So that's pretty great. Let's jump in and see what Rita can get out of Joelle from Direct Travel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Host Week and welcome to another host interview. I have Joelle Goldman from Direct Travel. Welcome to Host Week, Joelle.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we are so excited to dig into a little bit more of Direct Travel. So first things first, can you tell us a success story about a advisor and how you help them to grow their business?
Yeah, we had someone specific I'm referring to here. She joined us in January of 2020, so really good timing.
Right.
For coming into the travel industry. And of course, she didn't really get started until after COVID cleared up and travel was resuming. It was a lot. It was a lot for anyone really relatively new to the industry. I helped guide her, and she did a lot of trainings during COVID, as many advisors did,
right?
To get herself up to speed. We got her up to speed with Direct Travel and all of our systems. I introduced her to other advisors who were in a similar position or who had come along and joined DT and became successes themselves. So I introduced her. She got a few mentors that way. And her first year, she sold about 250,000 in sales. And now she's already up to over $1 million in sales. And that's just from guiding her, connecting her with some of our other independents who are successes, communicating with her, going to our industry conferences are huge. I think and getting her connected that way. Also, we're part of Virtuoso, so getting her engaged with Virtuoso was a big benefit to her because she's really engaged with them now. Okay. So she just sat back and embraced selling travel. And one of her lines she said to me was, because of my support, encouragement, and guidance, I'm now a travel business owner, not just a part-time IC sitting in the corner of her rec room.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah.
So what would you say are 3 top ways that you and the team at Direct Travel support your new advisors?
We don't normally bring in brand new to the industry. However, when we welcome an advisor, even with minimal experience, we support them. We have a regional manager or director as their daily point of contact. We have a leisure support team. We have a leisure supplier management team. I pair them with an experienced advisor as a mentor. I check in regularly with them. And we also encourage them to enroll in the Virtuoso Travel Basics course and have a mentor through that. Again, we work very closely in hand with Virtuoso.
Okay, nice. Good to know. Thank you.
Of course.
What would you say are your top 3 values at Direct Travel, and how do they contribute to the culture?
We actually have 4. So we're amazing, and we're committed to doing what's right for our customers, our employees, ICs, and communities.
Okay.
We are professional, respectful, accountable, and driven towards excellence. We are real, be genuine, and build trust with empathy and integrity. And we are one. We work together with a passion to do great things.
Love that. Love the we are real. I think that's so important, especially in business these days.
It is. And we do that. We say that we at DT, we have a monthly town hall for our leisure division, and all our leisure advisors are allowed to join. And we frequently refer to just be real, be honest and transparent.
Mhm.
And in supporting our advisors, we are always accessible. The leadership is always accessible. I'm always accessible. Their regional director or manager and other ICs, I built a community for them we built a community for them that is available to them at any time.
Okay, perfect. In our survey, the number one challenge for advisors is finding clients. So what's your pro tip to help them out with that?
It is a challenge. Especially for newer advisors, I think asking your clients for referrals
Mhm.
in any way possible is a referral is the best thank you that a client can give.
Okay.
Whether it's in your signature line, whether it's, oh, we're planning this trip for you. Do you have any friends or family who want to join you? To post-travel follow-up, would love a recommendation or a referral to your friends and family or business colleagues. It's
Mhm.
just asking the first time you do it and get a response and a referral. Once you do that, it will become easier and easier to ask for referrals.
Right.
And
Yeah.
also we have expert teams. We have leads teams and specialist teams. So we, in doing that, we do a lot of marketing on those on behalf of our advisors.
Okay,
So we help
wonderful.
them gain, through the leads programs, we help them gain new clients.
Okay, perfect. Now, I know this is the one you were like, oh, I wasn't sure about, but it is a fan favorite question. So if your company was a game, what game would Direct Travel be?
Okay, so I had to ask around because I wasn't really 100% sure how to ask this, and it was a challenge for me. So my
Yeah.
colleague Stephen Smith, who is our SVP of marketing, he says he thinks we are like the Settlers of Catan, which I've never heard of, to be honest.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because success requires collaboration, partnerships, and strategy.
Ooh, I like that answer.
I had never heard of it, but if it were up to me, I would also say baseball, a sport, because
Okay.
individuals can shine, but to win consistently, it takes a great team.
Loving
And it can
that.
be any sport, actually, but I'm a big fan of baseball. So
Yay. That's wonderful. I've heard of Settlers of Catan, but I've never like played it, or I don't know the rules or anything like that. So
I
that's
had never
intriguing
heard
now.
of it.
Well, Joelle, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us a bit about Direct Travel. We so appreciate your time and being here at Host Week.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. Wishing everybody a happy holidays, and here's to a great 2024. And thank you.
Yes. Thank you, travel advisors, for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Joelle, I see you are in the comments, and I feel so bad for you. This is your inaugural Host Week interview, and you were probably like, what in the world have we gotten ourselves into when you heard our weird question? But you answered it great. I love that we got the twofer. We have the strategic one with Settlers of Catan, and then we have Joelle's answer for the more mainstream. So just a word, I dropped a note in the comments, but I heard back from ASTA. I linked to our course in the comments that I did a course, The Roadmap to Becoming a Travel Advisor with ASTA. And unfortunately, we are not able to offer a Host Week deal for that. I am still waiting to hear back, though, on possibly an ASTA membership. So we will see. Keep your fingers crossed. All right. Next up, we have Incentive Connection Travel based out of Phoenix, Arizona. And they know their stuff because they opened their doors way back in 1992. It is a family-run agency by the Simons, and they have just about 350 advisors under their umbrella that bring in a total of $50 million in sales. And these are U.S. and Canadian-based advisors. And then on today is Richard Simon, the second generation of the Simon family running ICT. So let's have Juan go ahead and plug us in to hear more about ICT.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Host Week. So nice to have you here today with our host interviews. I have with me Robert Simon of Incentive Connection Travel and possibly a few furry friends maybe busting in with us too. So welcome, Robert.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So tell us, what's a success story of one of your travel advisors at Incentive Connection Travel and how you help them to grow?
So we have an agent who has been with us literally for decades, probably about 20 years. She had was getting older. She was getting ready to retire, but she didn't really want to give up her clients, and she wanted to make sure that they were, wherever they went, that she was able to give them the same service that she was able to give them herself, which of course is a concern of a lot of agents, especially when they're getting ready to retire. Mm-hmm. So anyways, she went and hired her niece, who didn't know anything about the travel business, except for the fact that she is very well traveled.
Okay.
So she had, for a couple of years, teaching her the business, sort of, not necessarily teaching her how to run a travel business, but how to get clients, things like that. And then finally, when she retired, her niece took over the actual business itself.
Okay.
Well, when you're thrown into a role that you're not used to performing in, of course, there's going to be hurdles and questions and problems and things that you don't necessarily expect to have happen.
Right.
So I had offered that at any time, because we knew the agent very well at this point. Call me, email me, whatever it takes to make you more comfortable with the business, and we'll walk you through whatever it is that you need. Mm-hmm. We heard from her daytime. We heard from her nighttime. We heard from her on weekends. We heard from her all the time, which is fine. You know, our goal at Incentive Connection Travel is to make sure that you're successful, because we don't make our money off of the service fees that we charge to you. Mm-hmm. If you're not selling any travel, we're not making any money. So It's in our best interest to help you as best as we can. So, you know, after a few years, she started becoming more comfortable with her new role. And of course, she's selling travel along with running an actual business. Mm-hmm. And she is now in our top 10.
Yay.
We had to teach her about how to advertise and how to market herself. And, you know, she took courses all the time. I mean, she took more courses than I think anyone I ever known had taken. And she's been in my top 10 probably for the last 5 years.
That's amazing.
Yes, and I'm proud of her. And she and I have actually become very good friends just by the mere chance that we just were in so much contact with each other.
Right. Oh, that's so good to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that one. Can you tell us the 3 top ways that you support your new advisors?
Okay, so as soon as a new agent comes on with us, we send them a welcome letter, giving them the basics, you know, how to get into our website, different some companies that they can use for advertising and social media posts, our passwords or the password for them to get into Travel Leaders, which is the consortium we belong to.
Okay.
Once they sign up with us, then they make an appointment with me, and I'll take them on a tour of our website. I'm not in any rush to get through the tour. Mm-hmm. The tour usually takes about an hour, but I take them section by section through our website to show them where their tools are, and if there's any questions about how to use them, how to use the tools. Okay. Now, when it comes to an agent that is new to the industry, there's usually a lot more explanation that's involved in it. Mm-hmm. And I will take that time and explain whatever questions arise. You know, this is not a one-sided webinar. It goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Then we also have our new agent meetings. Once a month, we have a meeting with all of our new agents, and some of our existing advisors also participate to give their insights and to help me with some of the questions that I personally can't answer. Mm-hmm. But really, it's a forum for them to ask the burning questions that they might be embarrassed to ask in front of a group of seasoned agents.
Okay.
And finally, we have weekly meetings with our suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
The supplier comes on for about 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour, and this is always a good opportunity for a new agent, new to the industry, to learn what suppliers sell what sorts of products, to tell us about the products, how to use their booking engines, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they drop off, and then whatever agents stay on with us, we talk business for the rest of a half an hour, an hour.
Perfect.
Now, none of these things are required,
Mm-hmm.
but these are all helpful tools to help you become more comfortable in the industry.
Right. Excellent. What would you say are your top 3 values at Incentive Connection Travel, and how do they contribute to your culture?
Okay, so really the overriding theme for Incentive Connection Travel, we call ourselves the ICT family.
Okay.
And we really do have a family atmosphere. I know some of my agents so well that I've invited them to my wedding 25 years ago.
Aww.
They've been to my kids' special events. I've gone to visit them on occasion if I happen to be in an area where I have an agent that happens to be there,
Mm-hmm.
or there, I should say. So we try to treat everybody as a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that goes both ways also. You need to want to be treated as a family member as well.
Right.
We've found that if you treat people as part of a family, then they become more productive and they want to be more helpful. Mm-hmm. This is why when we do have our agent meetings, we have seasoned agents that come on all the time just because they want to make sure that our new agents are successful and want to help answer any questions possible. We're reliable. You can call the office. You can for any questions you might have. Mm-hmm. We're here to help you. When you call the office, except for one person in my office, you're talking to a family member, and you're also talking to an owner.
Okay.
So the response that we're going to give you is not going to be a curt, "This is how you do it. Let's be done with this." Mm-hmm. We're going to give you the explanations that you need, that are necessary. Mm-hmm. And finally, we are dedicated to our agents. We respond to our emails and phone calls 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Arizona time, 365 days a year. When we're on vacation, we want to make sure that nobody goes without a response. Mm-hmm. And again, this all goes to, if you're not making money, neither are we.
Right. Right. That is a wonderful atmosphere. And I love the family and like having everybody involved in life events too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. In our annual survey, the number one challenge for advisors is finding clients. What would you say is your pro tip on that?
Okay. So the pro tip that I have seems sort of basic, but it's something that's kind of overlooked by a lot of agents. Your business cards.
Ooh.
Get a good set of business cards. Get a set of business cards if possible that has engraved lettering.
Okay.
Hand it to everybody you know. If you have kids in school, you're going to become friends with some of those parents. Make sure they know that you're in the travel business.
Right.
Your house of worship is an amazing source for getting clients. If you're going to school, that's fine. Your classmates, your teacher might be buying something from you. You have to remember, who do people trust except for people that they know?
Right.
And if they know you, they're going to want to support you. Some other places that you can hand out your business cards and talk about your travel business are your kids' activities, your own activities. Join clubs, join some organizations like networking groups, the social action groups like Kiwanis or Rotary Club, places like that. People want to support people that they know.
Right. Those are amazing lead generation tips. So thank you for sharing those. Now we have our little fun question here. We always like to put a little bit of a different spin to really get the personality. So to get to know Incentive Connection Travel a little bit better, if you were a game, what game would you be?
What game would I be? That was a hard one. You know, I want to try to pick a game that's sort of in line with what we believe in. Okay. And since I am a member of the Simon family, you know, I mean, it's a fairly big family. I thought the game of life might be the most appropriate game that would more indicate what we are all about. You know, as a parent company, ICT, and we call ourselves ICT, by the way. We're here to nurture, help, and educate our agents. But like all families, you hope that everybody that you're putting that effort into will become a productive part of your family, right? So, being part of the family, we have to realize that the individual really benefits the greater whole. And when the agents are making money, we're making money. They're happy. We're happy. We can give special things to them when requested. If problems occur, we can help them. This is all the way a family should treat each other. So I would say that the game of life is the most appropriate game that describes what our company is about.
Love that. And I just recently played the game of life with some family members. So I'm like, that's great.
You get it.
Yeah, with the little cars and you add your little people. So that's wonderful.
Exactly.
Now, I know you have a host week special. So would you mind sharing that with us?
Sure. So we use a CRM called Client Ease, which is good for tracking your clients. It's good for tracking your bookings. It allows us to. It also serves as a tool for us to pay your commissions. We pay for the basic version for everybody. Your agents, if you take on sub agents, we'll pay for them as well. ICT, we're Incentive Connection Travel, will pay for the full version, which has the reminders in it. It has a calendar, it has more reporting features in it, for 6 months, which is a $40 value.
Awesome.
So this could be something that you might want to use. It's a great tool. We enjoy it. The agents enjoy it. They call it Client Ease for a reason, because it is easy to use. And so that's what our Host Week special will be.
Perfect. And we'll make sure to link up the Host Week special. You should be able to see like the live stream going on to one of the sides of us. Robert, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us a little bit about Incentive Connection Travel, or ICT for short.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the interview.
Yay, thank you. And thank you so much, travel advisors, for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and keep tuning in. We've got more great stuff in for you for Host Week today. See you soon.
Well, let's continue on with this host train. Thank you so much, Robert, for that Host Week deal, and thanks for being in the comments. So I think it's about time that we bring up Nexion Canada. And if that name is ringing a bell, it's because Nexion was one of our host agency interviews yesterday. And as you probably have guessed, this is their Canadian division. So if you're looking to hear more about the US division, we will drop a link in the comments to their interview so you can take a look at that. And then we'll also link to Nexion Canada's profile for those wanting to learn more after they hear the interview. So they have been hosting and opened their doors in 2013. I think they actually opened earlier than that. They just aligned with Nexion in 2013. But they bring in about $65 million in sales with their network. And Mary has nabbed some time with Mike Foster, who is the president of Nexion Canada. So let's go over and hear what they have to say.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Mary Stein here with Host Agency Reviews, and we're back into our host interviews. And I am sitting with Mike Foster, the president of Nexion Travel Group Canada, for what might be your first 15 minutes of fame in 2024. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And so we're just going to jump right into the questions. We're here to learn about all things Nexion Travel Group Canada. So first question for you, Mike, is we'd like to hear a success story about a travel advisor within your organization and how you help them grow.
Wow, that's a great question. And, so many come to mind really when you ask that question. But one that actually does come to mind real quick that might be a good story. One of our more successful advisors today had actually joined us as somebody with relatively little experience in a modest business, joining us from another organization. But after joining us, they really dove into their training and our marketing programs, and we really helped them to focus on a niche. And since then, they have built a very large and successful business, very much built on this narrow niche. It's quite a narrow niche, which actually is quite good as well. We like to help people to build a business focused on a niche if they can. And it's all about the fundamentals. And although they did all of the actual work, we at Nexion were able to help support them through our programs, through our marketing programs, through our training programs, through our preferred supplier relationships, and really help them to reach their goals. But again, we just helped lay the foundation and guide them. They really did all the work. So I guess we did help them to grow, but it's all on them. But certainly by following our advice and direction, they were able to make it work.
Excellent. I love to hear about the supportive programs to help people really run with their business as they start developing it and niching. So that's incredible.
They're in business for themselves, but with our help.
Yes, exactly. And kind of continuing on the topic of support, what are 3 of the top ways that you do support your advisors when they're newly onboarded to Nexion Travel Group Canada to when they make their first booking?
Yeah, that's great. And not everybody has the same sequence or the same order of doing things or the same path. Everybody has their own journey really in this industry. But really, I guess the top 3 that come to mind, really training is the heart of everything. We win awards for our training. Our training is really quite good and it's very good. And it really does help people to find the direction for their business and plan out their growth strategy. But from there, it's really about the marketing and particularly lead generation marketing. We have a program that really helps to generate great leads for the advisor. The advisor has a role to play in this. They have work to do, but certainly we have the program and the direction and the advice and the systems to help them do it. But we have a really good lead generation program that really helps them to get that first booking and hopefully many after that as well. And I guess the third one is what I just mentioned earlier about a focus on a niche. And I think that's really helpful. It's not possible to know everything about everything. And in today's world, when the consumer has so much at their fingertips, we really do need to be able to answer questions accurately. It's not a good thing when your client knows more about something than you do that you're trying to sell them. So it really is, I think, all about building a niche, growing the niche. You can build more than one niche, and not everybody has a niche, but I think that's really a big part of the successful start to becoming a new advisor.
Excellent. Yeah, like having the supports to develop the niche and then the lead program to carry them into those bookings. It's really about finding that focus. Exactly. Yeah. Excellent. Well, our next question is, I guess we like to frame things in 3s, the magic number. What are your top 3 values at Nexion Travel Group Canada, and how does it contribute to your culture?
Well, that's a great question. And we actually have our core values posted everywhere, but there's 4 of them. So I hate to be a rule breaker, but we actually do have 4 core values here at Nexion that we all strive to work from. One is our first core value is to shoot from the stars, really because we're a driven group of talented, knowledgeable, and diverse. I'm reading right from our core values, diverse leaders and constantly challenging ourselves to deliver the absolute highest level of service to our members. It's really all about shooting for the stars and trying to be the best. Our second core value is that our members come first. Our members are our business. And we really do focus everything on the perspective of serving the member. I guess the third core value is just doing the right things. We have the integrity and the courage and the commitment to do the right things. And we always try to adhere to the highest ethical standards. We treat people the same with ethics, with honesty, with transparency, with fairness. And it's really about doing the right thing. And I guess the fourth one is everybody is in. And we really believe that the power of a truly diverse and inclusive team is to have a truly diverse and inclusive team, and that diversity empowers our differences through uniqueness and to create something better together. So I'm actually reading right from our core values. I hope that helps, but there's really the four of them, and that's what we live by.
And we'll also share the link in the comments so folks who are watching can see your core values for themselves as well. And we're possibly a bit biased for the Shoot for the Stars since we're going for the space theme during Host Week, but you need 4 foundations to hold up a building, right? So I like you breaking the rules and going with the 4 core.
I'm a rule breaker.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. So from our survey in 2023, and I think it may actually have said earlier that it was 2023 now, we're actually into 2024. My brain still needs to adjust. But in our survey from 2023, one of the number one challenges that advisors reported was finding clients. And so I'm just wondering, what is your pro tip to support advisors in kind of dealing with the struggle and finding clients?
Yeah, again, I hate to be a broken record here, but it really is all about finding that focus or that niche for your business. And once you do, our lead generation program can really make a big difference to most of our advisors. Not everybody gets the same number of leads. Not everybody gets any leads. Not everybody wants leads. But if you want to build your business and you're focusing on a niche, we will help you to generate leads. We have a really good lead generation program, probably the best I've seen anywhere in the industry, maybe even in any industry. Truly, it's really a good program. But it really does require, again, it's not the kind of lead generation program where we just, join us, we'll make the phone ring. No, we got to get the right lead to the right advisor, and it's all about finding that right fit. So there is work the advisor has to do, but if they're prepared to do the work, and it's not a lot of work, again, we have the direction and the advice in the program, you will get good leads, provided you do follow our instructions. So, and our advice, I should say. But it's a great program.
Nice. So these are like warm, qualified leads, kind of tailored?
Qualified leads, yeah.
Gotcha.
And we don't just send leads to, the same lead to everybody. We get the right lead to the right person to let them focus on it. And again, the goal is to make it a good outcome for the client, for the advisor, and for our company, obviously, too. We want to keep both of those parties happy. But it's all about getting the right lead to the right agent.
Yeah, that's true. A good outcome for the advisor is a good outcome for everyone. So
it is. Everybody wins.
Yes.
So does the supplier.
But yes. Yep, exactly. Everyone wins. Okay, so this is, wow, I feel like we've sped through these questions. So the last question that we're going to ask, and arguably the most important pivotal question that we have for you today, is if your host agency, if Nexion Travel Group Canada was a game or a sport or a card game, what is that game going to be and why?
Well, that is a good question. I like these creative questions you ask sometimes. They're good. I think of a sport. If we were a sport, because I like the idea of competition and keeping score, I guess like a game as well. But I think of us as being almost like Formula One racing. And the reason I say Formula One racing, it's sort of the top of the automotive sport. So I like to think of us as being at sort of the pinnacle of our industry. But I also like to think of us as helping a person to win their race. So the advisor is the driver. It's their business. It's their vehicle. It's their car, if you will. And we're the support team. We're in the pit. We're changing the tires. We're fixing the engines. We're getting everybody ready. We've got different tires for different conditions. But we're all about supporting the one driver as they go around the circuit and help them to win the race. So it's really, again, all about you being the driver with the best possible automobile and us supporting you along the way, making sure that we're looking after you as you need our help with the pit stops and the changing of the tires and all those other things that we do.
I love that metaphor. like you're the grease monkey and cars for all your advisors. I love that.
I have been called a monkey before, but not a grease monkey. I like that.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for joining with us today and playing along with our shenanigans.
It's my pleasure
to get the kind of behind the scenes peek. This is what Nexion Travel Group Canada is like behind the curtain. So you saw it here, and we'll make sure that the link to your profiles in the comments, and people can go check you out and reach out and learn some more. Thanks so much, Mike.
If I could leave with just a parting comment, do you mind?
Sure. Yeah,
I'd love if I can help anybody in the audience. My advice also would be honestly to follow Host Agency Review. This organization is a terrific organization. They're unbiased. They provide unbiased insight and information. And I love to send people to Host Agency Review when they have questions about the industry. What's it like to become an independent contractor? You have some really great training, advice, direction, and it's just a terrific resource. So I really encourage people who are looking to get into this industry or even looking to find a new host, whatever your goals might be. This is a terrific resource. I always send people here, and I hope you take full advantage. Dig into all the corners of this site. There's lots of great stuff in here. So it's just a little bit of advice.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. And we did not pay Mike to say that.
No, it's unsolicited. Unsolicited advice. I've actually gone overtime and just added that because I think it really is important. And again, if you talk to me about my business, just like if you ask me about my kids, are the best kids in the world. But you want unbiased advice, I think sometimes too. And this is a great resource to learn what things, what companies are really like and what others are saying about companies. So I really encourage them.
And that's what Host Week is all about. We're all here to set up the advisor to succeed. So
absolutely. Happy to help.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. We'll chat soon.
My pleasure, Mary.
Bye.
Well, that was just heartwarming, wasn't it? Thank you, Mike. Didn't expect that. And it's like Mike knew that we were having a motorsport travel advisor doing an EDUSPOT later this afternoon. Like he's inside of our head. So if you're just coming in, welcome. We have 3 more host agencies today. And next up, some of you that follow our Friday 15 podcast may recognize the lovely Lindsay Taylor from Travel Leaders 365, who was a frequent co-host last year. And Lindsay's company is based out of Chicago. Travel Leaders 365 has 100 advisors in the network. And for you Canadian advisors out there, they accept advisors located specifically in Ontario. We've got those TICO laws that kind of mess things up. So another thing that may perk your ears up is they have plans up to 100% commissions. So let's go ahead, see what Travel Leaders 365 is all about. Rita, get the dish on it for us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Host Week and our hosted interviews. We are super excited to have you joining us today. I have Lindsay Taylor from TL365. Welcome, Lindsay, to Host Week 2024.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, super excited to dig into everything that's going on at TL365. First of all, can you tell us a success story about an advisor that you have and how you help them to grow?
Absolutely. We had an advisor who came to us from a different host agency. She had been super proficient at selling just kind of wholesaler stuff, but she wanted to move more. We specialize in luxury. And she wanted to move more into the luxury space and was not sure how to quite convert those clients that she already had, how to build her new network. So we have our resources. We're part of TLN and Internova. So we've got our select partners. And then in addition to that, we also have really robust relationships directly with different supplier partners. So we were able to really work one-on-one with her, develop her business, really kind of give her those connection points to start to slowly move those existing clients into more luxury, planning more FIT versus more, packaged wholesaler stuff, really influencing her direct management of each booking, kind of turning her from an agent to an advisor, with the coaching and support of my whole team, including myself. I really love coaching advisors. And so now she's hit 1.5 million this year. And I think probably about 70% of it is now luxury. So she's really kind of hit her stride in that market that she really wanted to enter. Obviously, there's so many different approaches to the industry. Luxury is not the be all end all, and there's always room for those mid-range, but she really wanted to move that business, and boy did she. It was awesome.
That is amazing. I love hearing like that multifaceted approach to people's success, and that it is individual.
It is individual. And really, it's my passion in our industry is we're not just agents, right? We're consultants, we're specialists, we're fiduciaries at the end. My advisors hate me using the F word. My F word is fiduciary. But I really want advisors to see themselves as any other fiduciary, as an attorney or a CPA or a realtor. That's what we are legally. I mean, realistically, that is what we are. We have those same responsibilities. And so really kind of instead of being that retailer approach, turning it into that consultancy approach, and then just kind of harnessing the power of that is so beautiful and very impactful to the bottom line revenue wise as well.
Yes, I love that you use that F word fiduciary term. Like, I feel like that's a pro tip, which we're going to cover that a little bit later on too. What would you say are the top 3 ways you support your new advisors?
We have direct one-on-one support. We're very high touch. And so I'm supported by my entire team, several advisors, as well as independent support staff who work directly with my ICs on whatever they need marketing opportunities. So that's the first one, is just the human support. The next way, we invest a lot of time and money into our technologies. We've actually just won our 5th Magellan Award this year, which was incredible. We got 2 last year, we got 3 this year, for our technology platforms. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we're not in the business. I have no desire for technology to take away the power and the role of the advisor, but we use technology to help the advisor maximize their time, maximize their efficiencies, reduce errors, which is huge, but ultimately remove those things. So we have an artificial intelligence generated invoicing system. So my advisors just upload an invoice, or it's not even an invoice, it's a booking confirmation. My AI system creates the invoice, saving that advisor time so that they're not sitting there having, okay, I have to invoice this how many times. Similarly, we have, so this is kind of technology plus human support. I have a platform called the Business Assist Program, and it's a team of virtual assistants. My advisors have access to it for, I can't disclose the rates without contracts, but incredibly affordable rates, much more affordable than any other program out there, so that they can just send those task-based items that are time-consuming to my Business Assist team, who can then just do it for them, creating itineraries, maybe sitting on hold with a cruise line to create, dining reservations, whatever the case may be. So we really try to give our advisors, through technology and the human side, the ability to just sell. Advisors need to be able to talk to their clients and suppliers, create the travel opportunity. And that's the entire purpose of our existence, is to facilitate that. So technology support, human support, and then we've got incredible programs. I mentioned earlier, we love our partnership with TLN and Internova. Our Select program is incredible. They just rolled out with another hotel program called Curated. And then we've got our own, as I mentioned, I'm very passionate about supplier relations. I find that the closer relationship we have with suppliers that we use frequently, or even not frequently, even just the specialized, the main contacts, the leaders, we're really able to move that needle for our advisors that much more, ensuring best possible client experience, ensuring best possible advisor experience, to be honest. So we bring those 3 things. So we've got our technology, our people, and our programs.
That is super, super exciting. That AI is really, I feel like, super advancing in the industry. So kudos to you for offering that also.
Thank you.
What would you say are your top 3 values at TL365, and how do they contribute to your culture?
I'd say our number 1 value is integrity. Our company is owned by the Kambata family, this is our centennial, this is our 100th year of being in business. The Kambata family has been in business in the travel industry specifically for 100 years as of this year. And because it is a family, they thrive on honest communication absolute integrity. We don't try, so we don't have any gimmicks. We don't try to make this anything that it's not. We try to demonstrate who we are to our advisors and to the greater world, to our supplier partners. The integrity to us is huge. When we have different events and things, we rarely ask for comps from hotels. We like to pay full price because we're engaging in the market as a consumer and we want to show that respect. So I'd say integrity is the first, respect is the second one. We do not operate in a vacuum, and we believe truly every single individual that we touch in the process of selling travel requires absolute respect and acknowledgement. So I think that those two are probably the most important ones. And then the third one is innovation. Innovation drives us. Technology-wise, we just spoke to that, but even outside of that, we're constantly on the lookout, constantly seeking out different partnerships, different approaches to selling travel, opportunities maybe that have been undiscovered, even kind of across the board, things that nobody else has really done. And so we try to do that internally for our own staff, but then also encouraging our independent advisors to do the same. We like to loop in our independent advisors. I have one advisor who's actually based in Albania, and she had the incredible idea. So Albania is not a destination yet. It's very much, I wouldn't even call it emerging yet, because it's still very, the infrastructure is not there. It's still very basic. She is convinced that Albania is the next Croatia. And she has all sorts of anecdotal evidence to prove that. So in 2024, I'm going to be with a group of my independent advisors. We're going to go to Albania, and we're going to travel through it, and we're going to discover what has been undiscovered so far as Albanian tourism goes. She's already been in touch with the Prime Minister. So really kind of exploring these new places. And that's an innovation my advisor brought to the table. She wanted to look at how can we create these opportunities? Why are we sitting back and waiting for some publication to tell us what the next emerging destination is? Why don't we create the next emerging destination? So things like that we're quite keen to engage in, but it all kind of comes together with the integrity and the respect as well. And hearing voices, everybody's voice matters. We're not the be all end all expert. Nobody in this industry, if anybody tells you they know everything, they are lying and they are way too cocky. Like, that is not good. We all can learn from each other, even at different levels. I've been in the industry for 20 years. I am learning things every day that I never knew before. And so I think it's one of those things as well. When we listen and learn from each other, we can all just grow magnificently.
Yes, I love that so much. I'm like, I do have a microphone, but it's quite heavy, so I won't drop it. But that was a mic drop moment. All right, we're getting back into the pro tip. So in our survey, the number one challenge for advisors was finding clients. So what would you say is your pro tip on that?
Again, the F word. I'm a fiduciary through and through. I do not believe in gimmicks. I do believe in cultivating clients. If you think about so I have an attorney. I met her through my dad's best friend, who is an attorney. So when I needed one, I asked for referrals. I got it from my own internal network. And I find, depending on what you're looking for, the answer to this is going to change. If you're just needing volume of bookings, you can advertise online, Google stuff. Social media can drive things. It's not going to give you necessarily those high dollar bookings. It's not going to give you the type of demographic necessarily that you're seeking. It could. It's hard to do that. And so unless you've got robust SEO training and you've got all these opportunities to really dive in deep to web advertising and all that stuff, that is going to continue to be a challenge. I find the single best way to grow your client base is direct referrals from existing clients or friends and family. But that means you have to know your friends and family, whoever you're trying to do this through, have to know who you are and what you do. Because otherwise you're going to be getting all of the referrals from people who I want the cheapest all-inclusive in Mexico, or I want the cheapest cruise. Anytime anybody's looking for the cheapest, that's not going to be a good client for you, unless that's your model. If that's your model, go for it. It's not going to generate the most revenue for you, and it's going to probably be pretty difficult to work with. So I'd say use your networks to really try to get those new clients. And then anytime you do have a client that you book, ask them to refer. I like to do things. So when I have a client return, I always like to handwrite a card. So like a card I mail to them, and inside that card, I'll put several of my business cards. So a thank you for booking with me. I'll also do it via email because I want it to be immediate. It's always important to follow up. So I'll do it that way, and then follow up with a mailed card with my business cards in it so they can easily refer me to their friends and family. And that does work. But it's really just staying in touch with your existing clients, asking for those referrals, and then talking about your business.